Chapter 445. Amnesiac Ghost, Mad Devil. If it weren't for the two of you working together and taking all the living beings in the valley for yourselves with your talents, you would still be far from being able to defeat me. The Ghost King snorted coldly. Upon hearing these words, the two Ghost Emperors were not affected. Instead, they looked at each other and smiled in an extremely casual manner. A wise man submits to circumstances. In a place like that where the deathly aura is thin, if you don't use extreme measures, how can you go further? Ghost Emperor Amnesia said with a faint smile. The Mad Devil Ghost Emperor was rather agreeable as well, and he had his hands behind his back as he said with a smile, "You're right. If the three of us had always competed fairly all those years ago, then who knows when we would be able to break through to the Ghost Emperor realm. Presently, there are very few living beings that are weaker than the Tao Emperor realm that enter Soulbreak Valley. Haha, this proves that our decision all those years ago was right." As soon as these words were spoken, the Ghost King's eyes immediately became even gloomier. Back then, at the edge of the Lonely Soul Wild Ghost Domain, he was one of the three Ghost Kings along with these two Ghost Emperors. They were in charge of the border areas. Once any living beings entered the Soulbreak Valley, those weaker than the Ghost King realm will be captured and devoured by the three Ghost Kings. But in the end, the Amnesiac Ghost and the Mad Demon Ghost secretly joined forces and monopolized all living beings below the Ghost King realm, directly preventing the Ghost King from devouring living beings to break through the Ghost Tao cultivation. As a result, the Amnesiac Ghost and the Mad Demon Ghost both broke through to the Ghost Emperor realm and obtained the right to cultivate in the depths of the Ghost Domain. From then on, the Ghost King, who originally thought that he could enjoy all the living for himself, was shocked to find that because of the Amnesia Ghost and the Mad Devil Ghost wanting killing, rumors were spreading outside Soulbreak Valley. If one was below the Tao Emperor realm, then one couldn't enter Death Gorge, otherwise one would definitely die. Until now, the Ghost King had remained at the pinnacle level, unable to break through to the Ghost Emperor realm. All of this was caused by the Amnesiac Ghost and the Mad Demonic Ghost. So how could they not be angry? He, Amnesiac Ghost, Mad Devil, do you know who this lord beside this Ghost King is? The Ghost King narrowed his eyes and smiled cruelly. Such words instantly caused the pupils of the two great Ghost Emperors to shrink. The Ghost King actually addressed this young ghost cultivator as Lord. What shocked the two Ghost Emperors even more was that they were actually unable to detect the cultivation level of this young man. If he was a subordinate of the Ghost King, it would be fine, but he was addressed as Lord. If that was the case, his cultivation level would definitely be higher than that of the Ghost King's. If even a Ghost Emperor could not detect his cultivation level, could it be that his cultivation level was higher than that of the Ghost Emperors? When they thought up to here, a wisp of astonishment flashed in the eyes of the two great Ghost Emperors. They looked at each other, stepped forward, cupped their fists, and greeted, "May I know Senior's name?" Bang! Bang! However, before Wang Kai could speak, the green and red ghosts slapped the Ghost King twice, causing him to spin around. "You are my subordinate. Don't you know how to introduce me?" Green Ghost scolded unhappily. Red Wraith's face was also cold as he angrily snorted. "Puny white-boned Ghost King, you can choose not to introduce Green Wraith, but if you don't introduce this Hall Master, do you want your soul to scatter?" "You bang! Bang! Impudent! Call him Hall Master." The Ghost King suddenly felt that he had lost all his face. Just as he was about to get angry, he was kicked a few more times by the red and green ghosts. He wanted to fight back, but because of Wang Kai's power, he could only endure it with a gloomy expression. However, when such a scene fell into the eyes of the two Ghost Emperors, they had another thought. They couldn't detect Wang Kai's cultivation level, but the green and red ghosts were clearly at the Ghost Profound realm. A mere Ghost Profound realm cultivator could actually treat a Ghost King like this? Could it be that this young man wasn't strong? The Ghost King should be stupid, right? Ghost Emperor Amnesia said with a frown. The Mad Demon Ghost Emperor nodded his head in agreement and laughed disdainfully. It seems that we dealt a great blow to him back then, directly causing him to become an idiot. I am the sect master of the sky, defying sect. My name is Wang Kai. Since the strength of your ghost cultivators is not bad, you should all join the sky-defying sect. You will belong to the ghost shrine and be under the command of the green and red ghosts. Wang Kai waved the folding fan in his hand and smiled indifferently. Whoosh! When these words came out, the Mad Demon Ghost Emperor and Ghost Emperor Amnesia were stunned. Soon after, they were furious and scolded in unison. Impudent! You dare to ask us to be the subordinates of a mere ghost profound realm cultivator? It seems that you aren't strong either? Humph. The Ghost King was suppressed into an idiot by us brothers. He was actually deceived by a mere ghost cultivator like you. Fine, Ghost King. You will follow this Ghost Emperor from now on. Ghost Emperor Amnesia sneered. Was it because of the green and red ghost cultivation level that caused them to be underestimated? Seeing this, Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and looked at them with a rather playful expression. He said with a playful smile, "Are you sure you want to resist this sect master? Before that, you must be clear that even the heavenly ghost sovereign is just a piece of trash in front of this sect master." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 4th stage, Doubt Emperor Realm. No wonder the Ghost King would follow this kid after becoming an idiot. It turns out that he is very good at bragging. Ghost Emperor Amnesia suddenly burst into laughter. Idiot. Bullshit. You are courting death. In an instant, the Ghost King and the green and red ghosts mocked one after another. The many ghost cultivators following behind Wang Kai also had looks of disdain on their faces. They looked at the two ghost emperors as if they were looking at idiots. A ghost and a slap. Reflect on your actions first. Come and find this sect master after you have thought it through. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled impatiently. As his voice fell, he raised his hand and swung it down in an extremely casual manner. Slap! Slap! Bang! Rumble! Before the two ghost emperors could defend themselves, 2 slaps landed on their faces. Their bodies flew backwards like shooting stars, causing smoke and dust to rise from the ground. Trees and rocks were all sent flying. Your cultivation level, cough cough. This, how can you be so strong? Damn Ghost King, how dare you trick us? This scene caused the other ghost emperors to be startled. Their white eyes widened as they stared at the 2 ghost emperors, who were lying on the ground, screaming miserably. For a moment, they were unable to recover their wits. Although they were also at the Ghost Emperor stage, they were not at the peak. The Amnesiac Ghost Emperor and the Mad Demon Ghost Emperor were at the peak and were their leaders. However, now, they had been sent flying with just 1 slap. Ghost King, I will leave them to you to educate. Green and red ghosts, accept them into the Ghost Deity Hall and head to the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled casually. Swoosh! Under the pressure of Wang Kai's strength, the 20 over Ghost Emperors did not dare to resist. They joined the Ghost Deity Hall and became the subordinates of the green and red ghosts. They were ordered around and did not dare to complain. The most miserable ones were the Amnesiac Ghost Emperor and the Mad Demon Ghost Emperor. They howled miserably as they were beaten by the Ghost King along the way. There were a few times when they could not help but want to kill the Ghost King. However, when they thought of Wang Kai's ability, they could only submit in the end. Their sullen appearance was no different from when the green and red ghosts had beaten up the Ghost King. Chapter 446. Lord Ghost Emperor, this matter has nothing to do with us. That's right. The Amnesia Ghost Emperor and I came with the intention of offering sacrifices. However, we were threatened by this ghost along the way. Therefore, I hope that Lord Ghost Emperor will show mercy. Plop, plop. As Wang Kai's true cultivation level was revealed, the Mad Devil Ghost Emperor and the Amnesia Ghost Emperor knelt on the ground one after another. They continuously kowtowed and begged for mercy towards the figure of death that was gradually condensing in the depths of the cold pool. That's right, we are the same. Lord Ghost Emperor, please kill this ghost and return us our freedom. We are willing to serve you to the best of our ability." At the same time, many ghost cultivators also knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the figure of death as they pleaded. Currently, the only ones left standing were the green and red ghosts and the Ghost King. The other ghost cultivators had all turned to the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. "You are truly impudent." Lord Secmaster was willing to fight the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and even gave up the quota to enter the ghost graveyard to protect your safety. "Now, you actually repay him in such a manner?" Green Ghost berated in a stern voice. Red Ghost's face was also filled with anger. He lifted his leg and kicked a ghost cultivator, causing him to somersault. His voice was chilling as he reprimanded, "A bunch of spineless cowards. Ghost cultivators originally from Whitebone Mountain. Why aren't you scramming for this king? Don't tell me you want this king to personally kill all of you here?" The Ghost King's eyes were also gloomy as he shouted loudly. This scene immediately caused the ghost cultivators to have extremely strange expressions. In particular, the Amnesia Ghost Emperor and the Mad Devil Ghost Emperor looked at the Ghost King strangely. As old rivals of many years, how could they not know the other party's character? The Ghost King was actually willing to protect Wang Kai and stand by his side. What exactly was wrong with him? Wang Kai was also extremely surprised by this. However, when he saw the slightly trembling bodies of the green and red ghosts and the Ghost King, as well as the anticipation in their eyes, he immediately understood. The green and red ghosts are afraid of death, and the Ghost King is also afraid of death. However, they are very clear that even if they stand on the side of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, they will still be killed by the Amnesia Ghost Emperor and the Mad Devil Ghost Emperor in the end. This is rather interesting. Wang Kai shrugged as he secretly thought to himself with a rather playful expression. Either way, he would die. Since that was the case, he might as well bet on Wang Kai. If he could win, he would definitely be able to exchange it for a chance of survival. Moreover, icing on the cake and providing timely assistance were two different things. If Wang Kai really won, not only would they survive, but they would also gain more trust from Wang Kai. Even though Wang Kai was very clear about their purpose, he was still willing to accept them. At least, they were still standing by his side. As for other things, since he had accepted them into the Sky Sect, he shouldn't be too suspicious. Sai, looks like it's better to constantly strive for the best when accepting disciples. Otherwise, if I accept such a group of useless people, it will really bring shame to the reputation of the Sky Sect. It will also bring shame to the face of an invincible expert like me. Wang Kai pretended to be sad as he shook his head and sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th grade Dao Emperor realm. Ha, ha, ha. In an instant, loud laughter filled with mockery rang out from the depths of the cold pool and reverberated throughout the mountain forest. A mere 4th grade Ghost Emperor dares to set up a sect in the wild ghost region and even dare to behave atrociously in the cold corpse pool where I am at. You really don't know what death is. Swoosh! Immediately, an incomparably black figure walked out from the depths of the cold pool. His entire body was enveloped by black death chi, making it impossible to see the outline of his body or his appearance. We pay our respects to the Ghost Emperor. Bang! Under the lead of the Amnesia Ghost Emperor and the Mad Devil Ghost Emperor, many ghost cultivators kowtowed and greeted him. Kowtow my ass. Do you think you can still be safe and sound? Wang Kai's expression was rather disdainful as he smiled coldly. He flipped his hand and slapped down. Palm print 8 desolation. Buzz. As a gigantic cyan palm print condensed and appeared in the sky, the terrifying pressure caused the numerous ghost cultivators to stiffen and be unable to move. Dark eyes were filled with extreme fear as they screamed in disarray. Lord Ghost Emperor, save us. No. Ghost Emperor, save. Ah. Bang. Rumble. Rumble. In an instant, the green palm slammed down, instantly blasting the bodies of the numerous ghost cultivators into smithereens. Even their divine souls dissipated. Hiss, hiss. The green and red ghosts and the Ghost King inhaled a breath of cold air when they saw this scene. They were extremely frightened as they looked at the enormous palm imprint that had appeared on the ground. They secretly rejoiced. If they had really been like them earlier, it was likely that their souls would have already been scattered. They would not even have the chance to cultivate again. The funny thing was that these ghost cultivators were still hoping that the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor would save them. Battle Chi, you are not a ghost cultivator. No, you're a ghost cultivator. Why can you use Battle Chi? Who are you? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor cried out in shock. It was not that he did not want to save them, but he was so shocked that he forgot to do so. As a ghost cultivator, he could only use Death Chi. How could he use Battle Chi? However, Wang Kai did not have any vitality to speak of. His body was surrounded by wisps of Death Chi, but the martial skill that he used was activated by Battle Chi. Although there were many geniuses in the world who could cultivate many Taoist skills, it was an unchangeable law that a ghost cultivator could only cultivate the Ghost Tao. Hearing this, the green and red ghosts and the Ghost King immediately reacted. Only then did they remember that Wang Kai was using Battle Chi. How? How is this possible? Patter. Wang Kai waved his hand and opened the folding fan. His expression was quite calm as he said with a smile, "This sect master's power, not to mention a mere 8 desolates. Even in the entire universe, no one can compare. As a ghost cultivator, I can use Battle Chi. What is the big deal? Haha, this is just a superficial skill. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. This is just a superficial skill." When the green and red ghosts and the Ghost King heard this, their expressions froze. The corners of their mouths twitched violently. Although it was incredible that Wang Kai could use Battle Chi, this bragging was a little too much. Haha, it seems that your body constitution is very special. Coincidentally, I have not condensed my real body. Today, I will devour your soul and control your physical body. Don't worry, when I become honorable, the 8 desolations will be in turmoil because of your body constitution. Swoosh! As the ear-piercing laughter fell, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor turned into a cloud of black Death Chi and covered Wang Kai at an extremely fast speed. You're just a little ghost at the level of a Ghost Emperor. You don't even have bloodline power. How dare you say that you want to possess my body? Do you really not know how to write the word death? Wang Kai sneered disdainfully and waved the folding fan in his hand. Rumble. Bang. Your realm. This is impossible. You can use bloodline power. Are you a Ghost Emperor? Suddenly, the Death Chi figure of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was shattered. The pressure from the folding fan turned it into wisps of Death Chi and scattered in all directions. Chapter 447. Ghost Master? Is that the realm above the Ghost God realm? Is that the realm above the Tao God realm? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and was surprised. It seemed that the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor had activated the power of his bloodline, but he could not use it. From his words, Su Mo could tell that a ghost cultivator had to reach the Ghost Master realm in order to use the power of his bloodline. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders as he looked at the Death Chi that had scattered into dozens of balls. He smiled calmly and said, "A Ghost Master is nothing. No matter how strong you are, you have to bow down to me. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th grade Tao Emperor realm. Sect leader is mighty. Sect leader is domineering. Sect leader. Awesome." The green and red ghosts clapped their hands and cheered. The Ghost King also chimed in with a wonderful expression. Even though he knew that Wang Kai was definitely bragging, it was enough for him to defeat the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. "Are you going to swallow me?" Buzz! The scattered wisps of Death Chi gathered together and gradually condensed into a tall and mighty figure. His face was still unclear, but the outline of his body was extremely clear. I'm merciful by nature. I don't want to kill the living. I won't kill the ghost cultivators who have died once. You're very lucky to have met such a kind-hearted sect master. Wang Kai shrugged and said with an indifferent smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Merciful? Kind? The green and red ghosts and the Ghost King's lips twitched when they heard this. They could not help but look at the big palm print on the ground. Hundreds of ghost cultivators have been killed just now. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor did not believe it either. If he really believed Wang Kai, it would be worse than death. You will meet a seal barrier from here to the Ghost Tomb Forest. Swallow this soul elixir, and you will pass through the barrier. Once you reach the Ghost Tomb Forest, there will be a ghost servant leading the way. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said coldly. Swoosh! Whoosh! 3 black soul pills penetrated the deathly aura and floated in front of Wang Kai after his voice sounded. They emitted waves of sinister, deathly aura. Only by swallowing these pills will I receive guidance, right? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed. He flipped his hand and held the 3 pills in his palm. That's right. What are you going to do now? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor coldly replied. However, he was stopped by Wang Kai with a wave of his hand. I'll give you one. Come with me to the ghost graveyard. From now on, you'll be a member of the Discord sect. If you have the ability, I'll give you the position of Hall Master of the Soul-Devouring Hall. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a playful expression. With a flick of his finger, he returned one of the soul cores to the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor unleashed wisps of deathly aura to support the soul core. He was silent for a moment before he sinisterly said, If I want to sit, I must sit in the position of Deputy Sect Master. I am a dignified Ghost Emperor and will soon step into the Ghost Sage level. How can I be a Hall Master like an ant? Before Wang Kai could reply, the green and red ghosts had already flown into a rage from embarrassment. They naturally knew that the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was referring to them. Lord Sect Master, I believe that the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor is not qualified to join the Discord sect. Green Ghost spoke with a solemn face. Red Ghost's expression was also extremely solemn. He cupped his hands together and said, I agree. Oh, why is he not qualified to join my sect? Wang Kai lifted his brows upon hearing this. His expression was quite curious as he looked at them. He's too good at acting pretentious. That's right, he's a pretentious prick. The green and red ghosts snorted with disdainful faces one after another. TSK. Acting pretentious also depends on one's strength. Even if you want to act pretentious, can you? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor laughed sinisterly. His ear-piercing laughter and the chill of the cold corpse pool immediately caused the green and red ghosts to involuntarily shudder. All right, this matter is settled. From now on, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor will be the Hall Master of the Discord sect. We'll call it the Soul-Devouring Hall, Wang Kai said with a shrug. The green and red ghosts snorted upon hearing this. Although they were dissatisfied, they did not speak up to stop him. On the other hand, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor laughed sinisterly and said, I've just said that even if I want to sit, I want to be the Deputy Sect Master. I can't be the Hall Master. What do you want to do? Bang! Suddenly, Wang Kai's figure flashed and directly appeared in front of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. He raised his hand and grabbed the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor's head. Then, he waved his folding fan, and a figure came into view. The small figure was not tall, less than 1 meter. He was slightly plump, bald, and had a long braid at the back of his head. His panda eyes looked as though they had been beaten purple. His appearance looked like that of a child. Damn! Is this the real body of the famous #1 ghost cultivator in the Wild Ghost region, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor? Green Ghost exclaimed. With such a small stature, he can even squeeze through this Hall Master's crotch, right? Also, what's with those eyes? Don't tell me that the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor died because he was beaten black and blue. Red Ghost also grinned and said in surprise, Cough, cough. No wonder the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor has always said that he has not formed his real body. No ghost cultivator has ever seen his real body. So this is what he looks like, the Ghost King said with a slightly stiff face. Hearing their words, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor immediately gnashed his teeth in anger. He shook his body and tried to struggle, but he could not shake off Wang Kai's strength. He stretched out his arm, but he could not touch Wang Kai. You will definitely be the Hall Master of the Soul-Devouring Hall. I have high hopes for you. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled with a surprised expression. He was also shocked by the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor's appearance and height. Wang Kai would not give up on such an interesting soul-devouring Ghost Emperor no matter what. You are mocking me, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said sternly. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard that. He flipped his hand and released him. Waving his folding fan, he smiled faintly and said, No, in my opinion, you look very handsome like this. Very good. In the future, you don't have to hide anymore. Show your real face to others, and you'll make real friends. At the same time, you will also show a side of you that no one can compare to. I can't cough, yes. Master. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was about to coldly refuse, but under Wang Kai's cold gaze, he was so frightened that he immediately gritted his teeth and accepted the order. Let's go. We'll go to the Ghost Graveyard Forest and take down the champion of the Ghost Eater Conference. We'll also take a look to see if there are any beautiful female ghosts. Up until now, we haven't met any beautiful female ghosts. Wouldn't it be a great loss for a handsome and powerful man like me if I can't catch a glimpse of a beautiful female ghost? Wang Kai shook his head and sighed with a smile. With one hand behind his back and the other waving his folding fan, he leisurely stepped into the air. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade Dao Emperor realm. Chapter 448. In the depths of the Ghost Domain, at the edge of the Ghost Domain, a black barrier came into view. One could not see anything in the Ghost Grave Forest, nor could they sense any aura. Is this the seal that separates the Ghost Domain from the Ghost Grave Forest? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and asked curiously with a smile. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor nodded slightly when he heard this. He flipped his hand and took out the black spirit pill. He threw it up, raised his head, opened his mouth, and swallowed the spirit pill. Ghost King, you should swallow one too. The green and red ghosts will hide for now. Wang Kai shrugged, took out a spirit pill, and threw it to the Ghost King. The azure and red ghosts widened their eyes upon seeing this, and they harumphed with extreme dissatisfaction. Seeing this, Wang Kai shook his head speechlessly and had to explain. Your cultivation levels are too low. If you enter the Ghost Grave Forest and participate in the Ghost Eater Convention, you will be easily eaten. Swoosh! As soon as these words were said, the green and red ghosts' faces immediately stiffened. They looked at each other and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They nodded heavily and did not dare to complain anymore. Thinking about the strength of the Ghost Grave Forest, it was clear that the weakest there was at the Ghost Sage realm. With their Ghost Profound realm cultivation, they would definitely become food in the stomachs of other ghost cultivators. The Ghost King was not a fool. Holding the spirit pill, he felt tormented for a moment. He did not want to waste such a good opportunity. But if he participated in the Ghost Eater Convention, how could he be a match for the ghost cultivators in the Ghost Grave Forest? Master, there's actually no need to gather 3 spots. This matter is all up to one's own will. I dare to participate because I can break through to the peak of the Ghost Sage realm and even the Ghost Immortal realm the moment I enter the Ghost Grave Forest. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor hesitated for a moment and said, Instantly reach the peak of the Ghost Sage realm and even the Ghost Immortal realm? Wang Kai was startled when he heard this. He looked at him curiously and could not help but nod slightly with a smile. That's right. The fact that you can say this proves that you are not bad. You're too kind, Master. I've devoured most of the ghost cultivators who wanted to participate in the ghost feast in the ghost graveyard forest. The death chi I've accumulated can help me reach the peak of the ghost sage realm. The soul-devouring ghost emperor said awkwardly. Even the soul-devouring ghost emperor himself wasn't sure if he could reach the ghost immortal realm. As for reaching the ghost saint realm, Wang Kai could use his rank 10 bloodline to kill enemies above his level. Even if he had any ulterior motives, it would be useless. No wonder none of the 3 spots were given out. It turned out that they had swallowed all the ghost cultivators in the ghost realm. It had to be said that this soul-devouring ghost emperor was very powerful. From the beginning to the end, his plan was to use the quota to make the ghost cultivators take the initiative to come to him, and then devour them. Then who gave you these 3 spots? Wang Kai's brows furrowed as he asked curiously. The soul-devouring ghost emperor did not hide the truth. He pointed at the black barrier and said, "It was given to me by a ghost envoy from the ghost graveyard forest. He picked the strongest ghost cultivators from the ghost realm and sent them here." Patter. Wang Kai nodded gently and swallowed the soul elixir with a flip of his hand. He turned to look at the ghost king, who was struggling and hesitating, and suddenly slapped him on the head. The ghost king was caught off guard and swallowed the soul elixir directly. He was so frightened that his face instantly changed. He kept clasping his throat, but he couldn't spit it out. He could only look at Wang Kai with a bitter and resentful expression. Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he saw this. He turned his hand and kept the green and red ghosts into the sky-reaching tower. He patted the ghost king's shoulder and comforted him. "Don't worry. With me around, no one in the 8 desolates can hurt you. Yes, no matter who it is, I only need to blow a breath to kill them." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Blow to death? Do you want me to die from bragging? The Ghost King was extremely bitter when he heard this. Now that things had come to this, it was too late to regret. You are now at the peak of the Ghost King realm. When you reach the Ghost Graveyard, you can at least reach the Ghost Emperor realm through the deathly aura there, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said with a sarcastic smile. So what if I reach the Ghost Emperor realm? Even if I'm a Ghost Emperor, it will be a waste of effort. The Ghost King glared at the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor angrily and snorted in displeasure. Let's go. I vaguely remember that many years ago, I accidentally peed and created a graveyard here. I didn't expect that the later generations would call it the Ghost Graveyard. Sigh, it seems that I need to let them know that this Ghost Graveyard was created by my pee. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a calm smile, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through and reaching the 8th grade Tao Emperor realm." As soon as the voice fell, Wang Kai stepped into the barrier with one hand behind his back and the other waving a folding fan, under the shocked gazes of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King. The Ghost Graveyard was created by a pea, the Ghost King said in a daze. No, it was created by a kick. Bang! Suddenly, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor came to his senses and kicked the Ghost King into the barrier. In the blink of an eye, he also stepped into the barrier. Buzz! Buzz! In a pitch-black forest, there were endless tombs. Waves of deathly aura filled the air and chilly winds blew. The deathly aura that filled the air was extremely strong and powerful. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King broke through instantly without any difficulty. Everything happened naturally. Peak of the Ghost Saint realm. Still a little lacking. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor smacked his lips and said with dissatisfaction in his eyes. The Ghost King, who was beside him, climbed up from the ground. Just as he was about to get angry with the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, he realized that his cultivation had reached the peak of the Ghost Emperor realm. He was only one step away from reaching the Ghost Emperor realm. Gosh, the Ghost Graveyard is really a good place. If I can continue to cultivate here, reaching the Ghost God realm is just around the corner, the Ghost King exclaimed. Wang Kai shrugged when he heard this. He looked quite disdainful as he said, A mere ghost graveyard is nothing. If I want to go, I have to go to the most awesome ghost venerable graveyard. That place was created by this sect master's fart. It's much better than peeing. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. A ghost sovereign graveyard created by a fart. When the soul-devouring ghost emperor and the ghost king heard these words, the corners of their mouths twitched. They looked as if they were having a spasm. They were speechless. The three of you, follow me. The Ghost Eater Convention has begun. Today is the second day of the convention. The results will be out tomorrow. Swoosh. Suddenly, a woman in a snow-white dress appeared. Her appearance was pretty and rather pleasing to the eye. However, her bearing seemed to be slightly icy cold and merciless. Her pale face, pale hair, and lips that were red like blood. Although she was alluring, she also gave off an extremely dangerous feeling. Greetings to the white impermanence ghost messenger. When the soul-devouring ghost emperor saw this, he quickly went down on one knee and kowtowed. However, just as he bent over, he was stopped by Wang Kai. I don't care if she is the white impermanence or the black impermanence. As the hall leader of the Sky Sect, I even have to fight against the heavens. What is a mere netherworld to me? Don't you know that the netherworld was created by a spit of saliva from me? Wang Kai said with a calm smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th grade Tao Emperor realm. Chapter 449. The netherworld was actually spat out by a mouthful of saliva. Hearing this, the soul-devouring ghost emperor was so frightened that his face turned pale. He stared at Wang Kai in astonishment. He never thought that Wang Kai would dare to brag in such a manner in front of a white impermanence ghost servant. Even if he wanted to brag, shouldn't he have done it behind his back? However, something that surprised the soul-devouring ghost emperor happened. White impermanence didn't seem to be affected. He just glanced at Wang Kai indifferently and said, "Let's go. It's difficult for you to fight today. If you have the guts, you can go and have a try tomorrow." He didn't get angry. The soul-devouring ghost emperor was stunned. He looked at white impermanence, who turned around and walked in front of him. He couldn't help but whisper, "Soul Reaper, black and white impermanence. It doesn't match their reputation. Now you know, my power is unfathomable. Not to mention the black and white impermanence. Even the king of hell has to respectfully greet me when he sees me." Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled with an indifferent expression. He gently fanned himself and followed white impermanence. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Even ghosts don't believe you. The soul-devouring ghost emperor and the ghost king looked at each other, and the corners of their mouths twitched violently. Although they didn't know why white impermanence didn't get angry, they definitely didn't believe Wang Kai. He was definitely bragging again. If the system can bring Sun Wukong here, even the king of hell would be so scared that he would crawl under the table. Sigh, it seems impossible. Wang Kai shrugged and shook his head as he thought to himself. Host, the summoning function can be upgraded. Together with the great summoning technique, you can summon any creature across the heavens. Swoosh. Hearing this prompt, Wang Kai's footsteps suddenly stopped. The joy in his eyes was extremely strong. He hurriedly urged, "Quickly upgrade the summoning function." Congratulations to the host for successfully upgrading the summoning function. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. 5,000 bragging points. Damn it. Wang Kai's face suddenly darkened. He wanted to slap himself. It was because he was too excited that he didn't ask for the required bragging points. How much bragging points do I need to use the great summoning skill? Wang Kai frowned, and his tone was a little stiff as he urged his will. Host, cultivate the Tao of summoning and use 300 bragging points to cultivate the great summoning technique. Phew, upon hearing this notification, Wang Kai secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He immediately shrugged his shoulders and said with a faint smile, hundreds of millions of years ago, I was inspired and created the summoning path. Now that I think about it, I really miss it. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to host for successfully breaking through and reaching the first stage Tao Saint Realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully cultivating the path of summoning. Sect Master, what happened to you? Could it be that you've bragged too much just now, and now you're regretting it? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were stunned. At this moment, Bai Wuchang also stopped in her tracks. She turned around and looked indifferently at Wang Kai. Hearing the Ghost King's words, she gently shook her head and said indifferently, "I'm not so nosy. Without the King of Hell's order, I won't easily hurt any cultivator. You don't have to worry. Let's hurry on." As soon as she finished speaking, Bai Wuchang turned around and left. However, after taking 2 steps, she realized that Wang Kai still had no intention of moving. She couldn't help but turn around and look at Wang Kai in confusion. However, the current Wang Kai didn't have the time to care about them. He immediately urged his will and said, "Cultivate the great summoning skill. Congratulations to the host for successfully cultivating the superpower, great summoning skill. 300 bragging points have been consumed. Host, Wang Kai occupation, martial artist, symbol cultivator, array, cultivator auxiliary occupation, alchemist realm. First stage Tao, Saint Tao arts. Art of bragging, alchemy codex, spirit codex superpower, fate deprivation skill, soul manipulation skill, heaven sealing skill, yellow spring sand sea skill, great summoning skill equipment, Tower of Babel, 9 dragon cauldron, death god brush, 10,000 formation seal diagram, ever-changing fan, icy flying sword bloodline, level 10 physique, 9, 5 supreme physique protector spirit beasts, Lan Qianshou, heavenly venerable realm, Luo Ning, earthly venerable realm bragging points, 2, 830 experience, 30002000000 patter. Wang Kai casually glanced at it and urged his will to close it. Then he suddenly opened his eyes and shouted with a face full of anticipation and surprise, "Summoning function, superpower, great summoning skill, Monkey King come out. Host, your bragging points are not enough to summon the victorious fighting Buddha. 3,000 bragging points will be consumed. 3,000 bragging points. Summoning Sun Wukong required 3,000 bragging points." When Wang Kai heard the notification, the corners of his mouth twitched violently. His expression was slightly twisted as he said fiercely, "Then after the summoning is successful, can he always be by my side? Host, the summoning can only last for 2 hours. If you wish to summon him again, another 3,000 bragging points will be consumed." Fuck me. A single summoning can only last for 2 hours. If you wish to summon him again, another 3,000 bragging points will be consumed. Damn your grandmother. Why don't you just go and rob me? Are you trying to make me vomit blood? Wang Kai gritted his teeth and cursed. Host, it's all up to you. Nobody is forcing you. Shua. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's expression froze. If it was in the past, the system would rarely talk back to him. But now, not only did it talk to him more often, it even rebutted him. He looks like it's influenced by this sect leader. Even though it's a system, it's become more humane. This sect leader is really powerful. Wang Kai's expression was extremely ugly as he gritted his teeth and laughed. Congratulations to host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Heavens! Sect leader, have you gone mad? That's right. What are you talking about? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King's expressions changed abruptly as they looked at Wang Kai in shock. You really don't have to worry. This ghost servant will not act at will. Of course, if it was the order of the King of Hell, your soul would have been destroyed by now. Bai Wuchang said indifferently as her cold eyes stared directly at Wang Kai. Hearing this, Wang Kai shook his head and sighed. His expression became incomparably melancholic. With a tap of his foot, he leaped and arrived in front of Bai Wuchang. He opened his arms and hugged her willowy waist. Feeling the soft and cold waist, Wang Kai's heart could not help but tremble. Sister Wu Chang, this sect leader is really scared. What should I do? Sister Wu Chang, is what you said just now true? Wang Kai raised his head and asked with a shy smile on his face. Such a scene had already stunned the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King. Their bodies could not help but tremble as they swallowed their saliva. In their hearts, they even had the thought of turning around and running away. Following by Wang Kai's side was simply too dangerous. Not only did he tease a ghost, he even dared to touch Bai Wu Chang. However, something that surprised the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King happened again. Bai Wu Chang was not angry at all. She raised her slender hand and gently stroked Wang Kai's head. She said indifferently, "This ghost servant will truthfully report to the King of Hell about what you said just now. If he gives the order to capture your soul, this ghost servant will not hesitate to take action." Swoosh! As soon as these words came out, Wang Kai's body suddenly stiffened. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were even more frightened. Chapter 450. I just wanted to get some wealth from the ghost servant. Now that my wish has come true, I will definitely be rich in the future. TSK, wealth at first sight, good, wonderful. Wang Kai quickly took a few steps back and waved the fan in his hand. He pretended to look at the official hat on by Wu Chang's head with admiration. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the second stage of Dao Saint Realm. Hearing this notification, Wang Kai couldn't help but secretly despise it. Wealth at first sight? Not only did he see it, but he also had intimate contact with Bai Wu Chang. But in the end, didn't he still use the bragging notification to prove that wealth at first sight was useless? Although what he said just now was perfunctory, Wang Kai still had the intention of getting some wealth. But reality proved that the official hat was just for flattery and was useless. If it wasn't for Bai Wu Chang informing the King of Hell, Wang Kai wouldn't have said such perfunctory words. However, Bai Wu Chang's realm was hard to guess. It was definitely above the Dao God realm. Even if he could summon the master of the Celestial Master Mansion, Lan Qianqiu, to deal with her, it would attract more experts from the underworld. Did he really have to summon Sun Wukong? That was 3,000 bragging points. If he had any other choice, Wang Kai wouldn't waste it. Did you see the words on my official hat? Bai Wu Chang's eyes narrowed as she asked in an indifferent tone. Hearing this, Wang Kai was stunned and couldn't help but look at her with some puzzlement. Could it be that the 4 words on the official's hat, wealth at a glance, was not something that anyone could see? However, when he saw the confused expressions on the faces of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King, Wang Kai immediately came to a realization. Of course I can see it. This sect master was born with a pair of fiery eyes. I can see through all the falsehoods in the world at a glance. Such a trivial matter is not worth mentioning. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled with an indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Hearing this, White Impermanence lightly shook his head and indifferently said, "The handwriting on this ghost officer's hat is not fake, nor is it a formation. Seeing that you were able to see it, I will let you off this time. Let's hurry." As Bai Wu Chang turned around and left, Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly as a sliver of silver light surfaced in his eyes. The corners of his mouth curled into a mischievous smile as he swept his gaze over Bai Wu Chang's delicate body. Wang. Suddenly, a circle of death chi appeared and turned into a barrier, directly blocking the silver light of the Eye of Truth. White Impermanence turned around and stared coldly at Wang Kai. He said indifferently, "You want your soul to scatter, don't you?" The Eye of Truth had actually failed. In the face of an expert above the Dao God realm, it was simply impossible to see through it. Wang Kai immediately frowned. He originally wanted to admire the beautiful scenery, but now it seemed that he had most likely failed miserably. He calmly waved his hand and laughed softly. Impermanence, you misunderstood. I just wanted to test whether the handwriting on the official's hat was fake or not. Swoosh. Hearing this, White Impermanence's eyes flickered slightly. He lightly nodded and turned around, saying indifferently, "The eye of truth must be used in the right place. If it is used in the wrong place, since you are dead, this ghost officer has the right to take it away. Do not do it again." He actually knew about the eye of truth. Wang Kai grinned when he heard this. It seemed that the immortal martial domain could not be compared to the 8 desolates. At least in the immortal martial domain, there was no one who could see through the eye of truth. Thinking of this, Wang Kai's expression suddenly froze. He could not help but murmur in his heart, "Jing Xian, are you well now?" Back then, Jing Xian was also able to see through the eye of truth. Sect Master is really amazing. You actually have the eye of truth. TSK, TSK. What a good treasure. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor praised. His panda eyes were filled with envy. The Ghost King at the side also had the same expression. The Eye of Truth was not something that anyone could have in the 8 desolates. Those who had it were all famous figures. It's just the Eye of Truth. What is it? It's just a joke. You guys haven't seen the real powerful torch dragon's eye yet. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade Dao Saint Realm. Torch Dragon's Eye? As soon as these words came out, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were stunned. They looked at each other and felt puzzled. They had never heard of the Torch Dragon's Eye before. However, Bai Wu Chang, who was walking in front, stopped in her tracks. Her cold eyes flickered and she said indifferently, "If you have the Torch Dragon's Eye, you can become the king of Soul Break Valley." Swoosh. Hearing this, Wang Kai was stunned. He looked at Bai Wu Chang with surprise. He did not expect her to know about the Torch Dragon's Eye. Moreover, from what she said, it seemed that she wanted him to have it. "Ahem, I'm just bragging. Don't mind it. Don't mind it." Wang Kai shrugged and waved his hand awkwardly. What a joke. The Torch Dragons, I required 5,000 bragging points to obtain. Moreover, Wang Kai had no use for it now. Why should he spend 5,000 bragging points to obtain the Torch Dragon's Eye? Sister Wu Chang, are these 3 little ghosts the candidates from the ghost territory to participate in the Ghost Eater Convention? Suddenly, a deep voice sounded, and 2 figures appeared in front of Bai Wu Chang. The one in front was dressed in a long black robe. He was short and fat, but his face was extremely majestic. He glared angrily, giving off an evil and ruthless feeling. The middle-aged man's official hat had the words "World Peace" written on it. Seeing this official hat, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes. He naturally knew that the one who came was the Black Impermanence. Behind Black Impermanence, there was a young man in a similar black robe. When Wang Kai saw his face, his pupils shrank. "Di-Yin, Wang Kai." Wang Kai and Di-Yin cried out in a deep voice. Their gazes were as cold as knives as they looked at each other. The young man behind Black Impermanence was the sect leader of the Supreme Dao sect in the immortal martial domain, Di-Yin. No one expected him to become a ghost cultivator and come to the 8 desolates. "Oh, are you old acquaintances?" Black Impermanence asked in surprise. When Di-Yin heard this, his handsome face twisted. He laughed coldly and said, "Of course. If you didn't kill me back then, I wouldn't have come to the underworld to become a meditation cultivator. I wouldn't have become a ghost cultivator and come to the 8 desolates." Di-Yin, you little bastard. Looks like I didn't teach you a lesson back then. If I knew that you could cultivate the ghost Dao, I would have destroyed your spiritual soul. But it's fine. Since I can kill you once, I can kill you a second time. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled coldly. Chapter 451. The Black and White Impermanents were shocked when they saw Wang Kai and Di-Yin going at each other. They didn't expect them to come from the same place and to be mortal enemies. Wang Kai, do you dare to fight me? Di Yin sneered. His handsome face was filled with absolute confidence. After being killed by Wang Kai in the Supreme Mountain, Di Yin's soul moved to the Nether region to cultivate the Nether Dao. The seal in the immortal martial domain was broken, so his cultivation speed increased. His soul was originally at the peak of the immortal Emperor realm. After condensing his physical body through the Nether Dao, he successfully came to the 8 Desolaces in half a year. He even met the Black Impermanence in the Soul Death Valley. If it wasn't for the Black Impermanence's recognition, his soul would have been taken away by the Black Impermanence. Not only did he not die, he was even taken in as a disciple by the Black Impermanence. After 2 years of cultivation, Di Yin directly broke through to the Dao Saint realm. Now that he saw Wang Kai, it could be said that he was enraged upon meeting his enemy. How could he let him go? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed. His expression was filled with mockery as he stared at Di Yin. He then laughed in disdain. Di Yin, you have truly disappointed this sect leader. To think that this sect leader hasn't cultivated for 3 years, from the immortal martial realm to the eastern desolate region. Even so, this sect leader's cultivation base has already reached the Dao Saint realm. But you, how much effort did you put in to barely be in the same realm as me? Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Whoosh! These words immediately caused Di Yin's expression to change. His pupils abruptly shrunk as he stared at Wang Kai in bewilderment. He was unwilling to believe Wang Kai's words. Not cultivating for 3 years. Also at the Dao Saint realm? Could Wang Kai be a monster? However, when he thought about Wang Kai's boastful personality, Di Yin quickly understood. He sneered and said, Wang Kai, I didn't expect you to still be so good at boasting even after you've died and become a ghost cultivator. However, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and Ghost King were still in disbelief. Wang Kai was a Ghost Emperor. How could he be a Ghost Sage? Ahem, he is indeed bragging. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King looked at each other with a knowing look on their faces, expressing their complete agreement with Di Yin's words. Haha, this is interesting. Since the 2 of you have old grudges, then let me be the judge. The 2 of you can fight. Black Impermanence laughed. White Impermanence's eyes flickered when she heard that. She gently shook her head and said indifferently, the 3 of them are lone souls from the wild ghost domain who have come to participate in the Ghost Eater Convention. They are not allowed to fight before the convention ends. Haha, Sister Impermanence, you don't have to worry. I will save this brat called Wang Kai at the critical moment. Moreover, the 4 ghost cultivators for the Ghost Eater Convention have already been chosen. The final battle will have to wait until tomorrow. Let them fight first. Black Impermanence waved his hand and smiled nonchalantly. White Impermanence frowned when she heard that. She finally nodded and stepped back, ignoring him. Save this brat called Wang Kai at the critical moment? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly. His expression was filled with mockery as he swept a glance at Hei Wuchang. He turned to look at Di Yin. With one hand behind his back and the other fanning himself, he said with a playful smile, Come on, little bastard. Attack me as much as you can. After I destroy you, this sect master will destroy a ghost messenger to satisfy his craving. I will save him the trouble of showing off in front of me. Congratulations to the host for successfully boasting. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 4th grade Divine Saint realm. Whoosh! Black Impermanence's face stiffened when he heard that. He then glared at Wang Kai with a cold and sinister gaze and laughed coldly. Brat, you seem to have a lot of guts. Go to hell. If you spout any more nonsense, I will destroy you right now. You are just a mere ghost soldier. Why don't you go and steal my soul instead of carrying out your mission properly? What are you trying to show off in front of me? Wang Kai's face darkened, and he glared back at Black Impermanence with an unfriendly expression. His tone was merciless. You're looking for whoosh. Black Impermanence was so angry that he raised his arm to attack. However, White Impermanence's figure flashed and stopped him. Can you see the handwriting on his official hat? If you can see it, you will be pardoned. If you can't see it, your soul will be destroyed. Black Impermanence is different from me. He doesn't need to accept orders from the King of Hell to punish the dead. White Impermanence said coldly. Black Impermanence was stunned when he heard that. He couldn't help but stare at Wang Kai. Since White Impermanence had said that, it meant that this ghost must have seen the handwriting on White Impermanence's official hat. Otherwise, why would White Impermanence save an unrelated ghost so easily? When Dean saw that, he looked at Wang Kai in shock. If he could really see the handwriting on Black Impermanence's official hat, it would be impossible to kill him this time. I can see it. This sect master's divine might is unparalleled, and my eyes are all seeing. Nothing can escape this sect master's eyes. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a rather indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully boasting. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. He could see it indeed. Once these words were spoken, Dean immediately frowned deeply upon hearing them. His already pale fists were clenched even tighter, causing cracking sounds to be heard. What word? Black Impermanence asked angrily. There are 4 big words on that official hat. Black Impermanence became even angrier when he heard Wang Kai's deliberate way of speaking. However, he had no choice but to suppress his anger and ask again, which 4 big words? Idiot. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with disdain. Swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone present was stunned. They all looked at Wang Kai in astonishment. Even the ice beauty White Impermanence was stunned. She never expected Wang Kai to say those 4 big words. Sect leader, are you looking for trouble? Oh my God, sect leader, what are you doing? The bodies of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King stiffened as they stared at Wang Kai in shock. The evils we bring upon ourselves are the hardest to bear. Dean laughed coldly. He turned to look at the extremely furious He Wuchang. He immediately cupped his hands together and said respectfully, Master, leave him to me. Destroy his soul. Black Impermanence said coldly. Yes, Master. Dean immediately acknowledged the order respectfully. The death penalty is unavoidable. White Impermanence came back to her senses and glanced coldly at Wang Kai. She then turned around and retreated to the side. Leave it to you? What can you do? Are you trying to be arrogant again? Come on, let me see if the bones and tendons of your reconstructed ghost cultivator body are tough. Wang Kai sneered with disdain. Swoosh. As his words faded, Wang Kai's figure suddenly flashed and appeared in front of Dean in an instant. He lifted his folding fan and casually slapped it down on Dean's head. The pressure that belonged to a Dao Saint realm expert was also released, causing Dean's expression to change drastically. Your realm. Chapter 452. I'm 2 grades higher than you, you piece of trash. Bang. Plop. Dean's head was immediately smashed into the ground. The powerful strength of the slap had caused half of his body to be embedded into the ground. It was as if he had been knocked upside down. A piece of trash like you dares to come out and act tough. Wouldn't it be better if you were hiding? Of all people, why did you have to meet me? Wang Kai's expression was filled with mockery as he laughed coldly. He waved his folding fan and swept it at Dean's left leg. Bang! Crack! Woo-woo! A clear bone-cracking sound exploded. Dean's left leg had been swept down by a folding fan. The intense pain caused Dean to let out a muffled cry of pain. However, because his head was firmly embedded into the ground, the cry he let out was extremely unclear. This is the will of the heavens. A piece of trash like you who isn't even worth a fart dares to act so pretentious. Even the heavens can't stand it. That's why they sent you to me, so that I can grant you eternal slumber. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled indifferently. He waved his folding fan and swept it at Dean's right leg again. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th grade Tao Saint realm. Bang! Crack! Dian's right leg was bent and hung down. The unbearable pain caused Dian's body to twitch violently. His muffled cries of pain gradually weakened. A piece of trash like you dares to say that you want to take my life? That's right. When you became Di Xian's disciple, you learned how to be a hypocrite. Now that you have followed a tiger and an idiot, what you learned is just SOSO. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and smiled playfully. He suddenly flipped his hand and pulled Dean out from the ground. Bang! You! Cough, cough. Dean's face was ashen as cold sweat dripped down his forehead. He had never imagined that Wang Kai would be so powerful. After more than 2 years, Wang Kai's talent should be above his. But now, it was even lower than his. Especially when he saw He Wuchang's gloomy and ugly expression, Dean felt even more humiliated and furious. He had just made a bold statement, but before he could even make a move, he had already lost. This scene caused the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King to be greatly shocked. However, their expressions quickly became interesting. He had originally thought that Wang Kai was only a Ghost Emperor, but now he had reached the Ghost Saint, and was even above Di Yin's 2nd stage Ghost Saint. If he added the power of his bloodline, he could completely deal with a Dao God stage ranker. The outcome of this year's Ghoul Feast was still unknown. This matter ends here, Black Impermanence said coldly. Stop here? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he heard this. He looked at He Wuchang with disdain and said with a mocking smile, Do you think I'm making fun of you? Do you think it's going to start and end just because you say so? Crash! Suddenly, He Wuchang flipped his hand and handcuffs appeared. They circled around his body and moved continuously. Waves of strong death chi lingered in the air. I can spare your life. This is the greatest mercy I can give you. Don't be ungrateful. Get lost. He Wuchang said coldly. Swoosh! When Wang Kai heard this, he frowned and stared coldly at He Wuchang. Suddenly, he sneered and said, Looks like I'm going to start a massacre today. Bang! Crack! Ah! Suddenly, Wang Kai flipped his hand and slashed down with a folding fan. Dian's body exploded, and even his spiritual soul was destroyed. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing a 2nd stage Dao Saint. You have received 100,000 experience points. When he heard the notification, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and waved his folding fan. He looked at He Wuchang and said with a mocking smile, His value is too low. It's not enough to make me happy. I hope your cultivation level is higher. How dare you? How dare you? You're courting death. Soul reaping. Buzz. Walala. He Wuchang was enraged. He immediately threw the handcuffs at Wang Kai. The terrifying death chi caused Wang Kai's body to stiffen, and he could not move at all. Summoning function, superpower, grand summoning skill, Sun Wukong. Congratulations to the host for successfully using the summoning function. 3,000 bragging points have been consumed. Buzz. As a golden circle of light appeared in front of Wang Kai, a figure with a slightly bent body and a long staff in his hand appeared. Hee I, old son, am here. Ding. Crack. Puff. The handcuffs and shackles were destroyed, and the fragments bounced back, causing He Wuchang to vomit blood and be sent flying. Who is it? This seemed shocked by Wuchang until his eyes flashed. He flipped his delicate hand and took out a pair of handcuffs. His expression was icy cold as he took precautions. Looking at the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King, they were so scared that they stood rooted to the ground. They thought that Wang Kai was doomed to die, but they didn't expect that the Black Impermanence would be inexplicably sent flying by his own handcuffs. Oh, where's this place? So it's the 2 black and white little ghosts under the King of Hell. Hee, the 2 of you stole my soul. Why are you looking for me today? Swoosh. A monkey wearing a golden Buddhist robe and a Buddhist hat appeared. He had a hairy face and a thunderous mouth. His eyes were shining with golden light. He bent down slightly and held the Jingu Bang. He raised his hand and pointed at Bai Wuchang with a mocking smile. It's really Brother Monkey. It's really Brother Monkey. Wang Kai waved his folding fan and circled around Sun Wukong to size him up. Surprisingly, Sun Wukong was also circling around Wang Kai to size him up. He blinked his fiery golden eyes, and rays of golden light shot out. Ha ha ha! A mere brat dares to have designs on me. Old son, eat my Jingu Bang. Suddenly, under Wang Kai's astonished gaze, Sun Wukong waved his Jingu Bang and smashed it toward him. F***CKU, brother monkey, you can't play like this. I'm the one who summoned you. Wang Kai looked very anxious. Halfway through a shout, he saw that Sun Wukong's stick had actually stopped in midair. Looking at Sun Wukong's face, he was actually grimacing in anger. Sun Wukong kept yelling as if he was using all his strength to swing the gang down. However, it still stopped above Wang Kai's head and could not hit him. Bastard! Where did this monkey come from? How dare he attack me? Sister Wu Chang, let's join hands and take down this demon cultivator. Whoosh! Black Impermanence's body was in tatters and his face was pale. He waved his hand and recalled the shackles. After a burst of Black Death Chi, he recovered his complete form. Old King of Hell, how dare you? I didn't look for you to settle the old scores, but you came looking for me first. I'll kill your little ghost first, and then look for you. Whoosh! Sun Wukong roared. Seeing that he could not do anything to Wang Kai, he waved his Jingu Bang and turned around to smash Black Impermanence. Chapter 453. B***starred monkey. Bang! Buzz! Suddenly, before He Wu Chang had time to resist, his body was smashed apart by Sun Wukong's staff, and his spirit dissipated along with it. With one strike, his divine soul was destroyed. Seeing this scene, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were so frightened that they fell to the ground. Their bodies trembled as they looked at Sun Wukong. They couldn't believe that a little monstrous monkey cultivator could be so powerful. White Impermanence's beautiful eyes widened. She had already lost the will to fight. She immediately put away the handcuffs and chains, turned into a death aura, and escaped without hesitation. Where are you going? Eat me, old son. Eat your uncle, stop. Buzz. Wang Kai waved his hand and shouted. Sun Wukong, who was about to chase after Black Impermanence, stopped in his tracks, and his body stiffened. Which deity are you? It's fine that you turned into a little ghost, but how dare you order me? Old son? Don't you know that I, old son, am the great sage who wreaked havoc in the heavenly palace? Sun Wukong bared his teeth and shouted. He wanted to kill Wang Kai with one strike, but he could not move at all. Wang Kai's face darkened when he heard this. He thought that he would be able to get a huge reward of experience points, but he did not expect that after Black Impermanence's divine soul was destroyed, he did not get anything. It was the same as the path of destiny. This sect master has never changed his name nor his surname. I am the sect master of the heavenly sect, Wang Kai. So what if you wreaked havoc in the heavenly palace? This cult master has once shattered the firmament, and even Tathagata was defeated by this cult master. Which of the celestial beings in the heavens is not respectful to this cult master? Wang Kai snorted with displeasure. He could not get over the fact that he did not get any experience points. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th grade Divine Saint realm. Whoosh! As soon as these words came out, Sun Wukong rolled his eyes and put on a smiling face. He chuckled and said, Oh, so it's the sect master of the Discord sect, Wang Kai. I've heard a lot about you. I've heard a lot about you. I've heard a lot about you. Let me go quickly. Upon hearing this, the corners of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly. How could he not know what Sun Wukong was planning? For a shrewd monkey like the great sage, who changed his attitude faster than flipping a book, the moment he let him go, he would definitely be hit with a stick. Can you tell that I'm a ghost cultivator in disguise? Wang Kai shrugged and asked with an indifferent expression. Sun Wukong's eyes darted around as he chuckled. That's right. I, old son, have discerning eyes. I can see through any falsehood. Your Tao of transformation is still far from old Sun's." Hearing that proud laughter, Wang Kai understood what kind of person Sun Wukong was. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was arrogant. "Sun Wukong, listen to me. Sun Wukong, listen carefully. This place is not the world you are in. You can appear here only because I summoned you. So, any action you take will be under my control. Well, it's tens of thousands of times more awesome than the band-tightening spell that Guanyin Bodhisattva gave to Tang Sanzang. If you don't want to be defeated, you'd better behave." Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows and smiled. As soon as he heard this, Sun Wukong was shocked. He rolled his eyes and chuckled. "Oh, what do you want me to do? Hurry up and tell me. I still have to return to Mount Huagua." "Return to Mount Huagua?" Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he heard this. He narrowed his eyes and said with a playful smile, "You want to go back? Without this sect master's permission, it's impossible. I can even trap you for tens of thousands of years." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Ha ha ha. Sun Wukong was so angry that he grimaced. Golden light flashed in his eyes, and 2 rays of golden light pierced through Wang Kai. F*CKU. I forgot that there was such a move. Wang Kai was shocked when he saw this. He quickly rolled to the side and looked at the 2 bottomless holes in the ground. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Don't use any means to attack. Seeing that Sun Wukong was about to use his golden gaze fiery eyes, Wang Kai quickly shouted, "Swoosh! Ha ha ha!" Sun Wukong's eyes suddenly closed. He wanted to open them, but he had no strength to resist. He could only grit his teeth and scream. He looked as if his lungs were about to explode from anger. "Send it back quickly," Wang Kai shouted with a black face. Buzz. Suddenly, under the urging of Wang Kai's will, a circle of golden array platform appeared beneath Sun Wukong's feet. As bursts of light flickered, Sun Wukong's figure vanished. F*CK. What a *T summoning skill. It doesn't listen to my orders, and I have to control it at all times. How am I going to fight the enemy? It's not even as obedient as Lan Qianshou. Wang Kai was so angry that his face darkened. Not only did he spend 3,000 bragging points, but he also did not get any experience points from killing the Black Impermanents. What was even more infuriating was that he was almost killed by Sun Wukong. Host, if you spend 10,000 bragging points to upgrade the summoning skill, the target of the summoning will listen to your orders. 10,000 bragging points. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's mouth twitched and his face turned green. If he wanted to upgrade the summoning skill again, he would have to brag 100 times more. Haha, with this bragging god's ability, bragging 100 times is just a trivial matter. As long as this bragging god wants it, it can be done in the blink of an eye. Wang Kai gritted his teeth and snorted with displeasure. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade Tao Saint Realm. Sect leader, where are we going now? Are we still going to participate in the Ghost Eater convention? The Ghost King swallowed his saliva and asked respectfully. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor also looked obedient. He was still unable to calm down after Wang Kai summoned the Demon Monkey Cultivator. He killed the Black Impermanents with a single blow. He even dared to challenge the King of Hell. Judging from the Demon Monkey Cultivator's tone, the King of Hell seemed to be afraid of him. Of course we're going to participate. Why wouldn't we? Wang Kai frowned and snorted. The loss this time was indeed great. If he could not step into the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, he would definitely vomit blood from anger. But sect leader, you just killed the Black Impermanent's Ghost Servant, and the White Impermanent's Ghost Servant has already escaped. I'm afraid the Netherworld will not ignore this. If sect leader can summon that Demon Monkey Cultivator, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said carefully. Summon? Summon the heavens? Wang Kai was furious when he heard this. His face darkened as he thought viciously. Wait until this sect master accumulates bragging points to 10,000. At that time, I will teach you a lesson. Chapter 454. So what if the underworld is alarmed? With my abilities, isn't it just a matter of a flick of my finger? Wang Kai shrugged and smiled calmly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. A matter of a flick of my finger? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was speechless. If it was so easy, why bother participating in the Ghost Eater convention? Wouldn't it be better to just enter the Ghost Venerable Cemetery? However, he only dared to think about it secretly. He did not have the guts to say it out loud. He immediately cupped his fist and said respectfully, "Sect leader, you may not know this, but the black and white impermanence ghosts came to the ghost graveyard with the responsibility of leading and judging. Now that the black and white impermanence ghosts have been destroyed and the white impermanence escaped, I'm afraid the Ghost Eater Convention can't be held. Even if it were to be held, there won't be any ghosts to lead us into the Ghost Venerable Cemetery." Leading the way, judging. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this. He thought to himself, this is really troublesome. If a lone soul enters the ghost graveyard from the ghost domain and is separated by a seal barrier, then how does the ghost graveyard enter the Ghost Venerable Cemetery from the ghost graveyard? It's probably not that simple. Even if the system could break any restriction array or seal, it would require a lot of bragging points. Now that he had summoned Sun Wukong, he had to pay 3,000 bragging points. For the sake of his safety, unless he had no other choice, he couldn't afford to waste bragging points. Thinking of this, Wang Kai frowned. The only way to solve the problem of entering the Ghost Venerable Cemetery was to find white impermanence. However, white impermanence's realm was above the Tao God realm. If he wanted to find her, he could not do it with his own realm. Is the only way to calculate the heavenly secrets? Let's cultivate the heavenly secrets superpower astronomical tracking technique. Congratulations to the host for successfully cultivating the superpower astronomical tracking technique. 300 bragging points have been consumed. Using the heavenly secrets superpower and the way of heavenly secrets to calculate the heavenly secrets, I only need to consume 100 years of my lifespan each time. Damn it, Sun Wukong, just you wait. I'll make you suffer sooner or later. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and thought viciously. Heavenly Secrets Divinatory Platform. Heavenly Secrets Tracking Technique. Wang. Suddenly, an octagonal silver divinatory platform appeared under Wang Kai's feet. Above it were 8 silver characters: Qian, Kuan, Zhen, Sun, Qinli, Jin, and Dui. Within the inner circle of the 8 trigrams were the east, west, south, north, southeast, northeast, southwest, and northwest directions. In the center, there were north, south, east, and west. Heaven and earth happened to be under Wang Kai's feet. Investigate the whereabouts of the white impermanence, emissary of hell, and emissary of hell in Death Valley. Wang. With Wang Kai's thought, the octagonal platform flashed with silver light, and the various positions on it began to rotate. In the end, they discovered that the location Qian was pointing it was in the southeast direction. Swoosh! In the end, the 2 words southeast turned into 2 streams of light that floated in the air. They slowly turned into a silver-white light that shone in the southeast direction. Congratulations to the host for successfully divining the secrets of the heavens. 100 years of lifespan has been consumed. Host, the secrets of the heavens revealed by this heavenly secrets superpower can be maintained for 2 hours. Other than the user, no other experts can see through it. After hearing the notification, Wang Kai squinted his eyes and looked in the direction of the silver light that shone down from the sky. He discovered that white impermanence was staring at him coldly from 300 miles away. Heavenly Secrets Tao. Sect Master has also cultivated the Heavenly Secrets Tao. The Ghost King exclaimed. He found Wang Kai's means unbelievable. As a ghost cultivator, he could only cultivate the Ghost Tao. Unlike other living creatures, he could not cultivate multiple Tao skills at the same time. However, Wang Kai not only cultivated the Ghost Tao, but also the Heavenly Secrets Tao. He could even use the battle chi of martial arts. Although the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was also shocked when he saw this, he recovered extremely quickly. From the words of the demon monkey cultivator who had just summoned, he could tell that Wang Kai was not a ghost cultivator at all, but a ghost cultivator in disguise. Sect Master, have you divined the whereabouts of white impermanence? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor asked respectfully. He was about 1 meter tall. When he cupped his fists, the braids at the back of his head swayed. Together with his panda eyes, he looked rather comical. Wang Kai nodded slightly. It seemed that they could not see the silver light that shone down from the sky. They could only see the heavenly secrets divinatory stage that he had just displayed. This proved that white impermanence was also unaware. Let's go. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled. He immediately stepped into the air and went straight to where white impermanence was. When the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King saw this, they looked at each other and quickly followed behind. For Wang Kai and his group, the distance of 300 miles was covered in the blink of an eye. White impermanence naturally noticed that Wang Kai was running toward her. However, she did not leave. Instead, she stood quietly on a tombstone and looked coldly at Wang Kai, who was descending from the sky. Buzz! When Wang Kai arrived at white impermanence's place, the silver light that shone on white impermanence disappeared. White impermanence did not feel anything strange about this. She did not notice it at all. Who are you? What is your purpose in sneaking into Soul Break Valley? White impermanence said indifferently. With a wave of her slender hand, handcuffs and shackles appeared with a clatter. The way of heavenly secrets that Wang Kai had just displayed had already made white impermanence suspicious of him. However, with the way of heavenly secrets, white impermanence admitted that she could not escape. If Wang Kai summoned the demon monkey again, he would definitely end up like black impermanence. Hee, Sister Impermanence, you are very smart. This sect master is indeed not a ghost cultivator in Soul Break Valley. My purpose in coming to Soul Break Valley is very simple. I want to find old brother King Yama and play chess. I want to find Supreme Heavenly Ghost to talk about old times and compare notes on martial arts. Then I want to find a few beautiful female ghosts to be lovey-dovey with. TSK, how delightful. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 8th grade Dao Saint Realm. Hearing this, White Impermanence's eyes grew colder. She naturally knew that Wang Kai was talking nonsense. If he could really catch up with King Yama and Supreme Heavenly Ghost, why would he need to participate in the Ghost Eater Convention? Why would he appear in the Ghost Realm? You want me to bring you into the Ghost Venerable Cemetery? I am sorry. Even if my soul is scattered, I cannot disobey King Yama's orders. If you want to enter the Ghost Venerable Cemetery, you must win the Ghost Eater Convention. White Impermanence said indifferently. Clap, clap. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and immediately clapped his hands. He praised, Sister Impermanence, you are not afraid of death and do your job well. This sect master admires you. However, you can rest assured that with this sect master's power, not to mention a mere Ghost Eater Convention held in the Ghost Graveyard, even overturning the strongest Ghost Venerable Cemetery would be a piece of cake. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Please support the original reading. Make sure to read it on QQ, Genesis Chinese Network. Thank you for the tip from Forever Laughing, Flourishing Piao Hong, QQ Group, 326077524. Chapter 455. If you have the ability, I can bring you into the Ghost Venerable Cemetery. However, in the Ghost Eater Convention, external forces are not allowed. Do you understand? White Impermanence said indifferently. The power of the monkey demon cultivator that Wang Kai had summoned was too terrifying. Even the King of Hell did not have such terrifying strength. If he rejected Wang Kai now and caused the monkey demon to appear again, the Ghost Eater convention would definitely end. He would also be destroyed like black impermanence. The only thing he could do now was to compromise with Wang Kai. Moreover, in White Impermanence's opinion, as long as Wang Kai did not summon the monkey demon cultivator, it would be difficult for him to stand out in the Ghost Eater convention with his mere cultivation of the Ghost Sage stage. During this period, he could even delay Wang Kai, communicate with the underworld, and report this matter to the King of Hell. Hearing White Impermanence's words, Wang Kai's face darkened. Do you think I want to summon Sun Wukong? If I summon him again, not to mention whether the Valley of Death would be peaceful, I would definitely be in for a bad time. With Wang Kai's unyielding character and Sun Wukong's fearless character, it would only be a contest of strength. It was impossible to use other methods to make them submit. Hee, Sister Wu Chang, you don't have to worry. Just now, this sect master has already said that with the power of this sect master, there is no ghost cultivator in the Death Valley who can stand shoulder to shoulder with this sect master. And as for the monkey that was summoned before, he is just a student under this sect master. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th grade Dao Saint stage. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's confidence swelled. Reaching the 9th grade Dao Saint stage, with the power of his bloodline, he could become invincible in the ghost graveyard. Of course, a ghost servant like White Impermanence was not included in the calculation. If that's the case, then let's go. I hope you will abide by the rules of the Ghost Eater Convention. Bai Wu Chang said coldly. As soon as his voice faded, he moved his feet and shuttled through the tomb forest that was surrounded by dark death aura. Wang Kai rubbed his nose when he saw this. It was fine to abide by the rules, but the prerequisite was that one did not suffer losses. If one knew that one would suffer losses and still abide by the rules, who would do such an idiotic thing? In the depths of Ghost Grave Forest, Ghost God Graveyard, when Wang Kai and the rest arrived at their destination with a White Impermanence, they were greeted by the sight of densely packed tombstones and graves. Each grave was as big as a house, and the tombstones in front of them were even taller than the graves. Waves of extremely strong death chi permeated the air, causing the originally dark Ghost Grave Forest to become increasingly difficult to see clearly with the naked eye. If it weren't for the fact that Wang Kai cultivated the Tao of ghouls and transformed into a ghost cultivator, he probably wouldn't have been able to see anything here with his eyes. In this place, there was no sunlight penetrating through, and it was not darkness either. Instead, it was the death aura that blocked one's line of sight. Eastern Wasteland, White Net Region, Region Lord, Nine Gods Kong Tomb. Eastern Wasteland, Black Xian Region, Region Lord, Li Qiutian's Tomb. Eastern Wasteland, Ziwu Region, Heavenly Fan Sect, Grand Elder, Gu Lai's Tomb. The tombstones that were taller than houses were engraved with the names of the various major forces and even the region lords of the various regions in Eastern Wasteland. A graveyard for ghost cultivators in the Ghost God realm? What's so great about it? Isn't it just much bigger than the graves outside? If you want to show off, why don't you just build a house and a palace? Is there a need to build such a big grave? Wang Kai snorted with disdain. Swoosh! As soon as he said that, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King looked at each other speechlessly. If they were still alive, they naturally wouldn't choose to build a grave as a house. Sect Master, you may not know this, but as the dead, we have the dead's rules. The living pursue glory, wealth, and fame, and the dead can't avoid it either. It's just that the things we pursue are different, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said. The Ghost King shook his head and sighed. If I can have such a big grave, my status will definitely rise. Bang! Bang! The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard that. He immediately flipped his hand and slapped the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King until they fell to the ground. He looked at them with an unfriendly gaze and snorted. As a member of the Sky-Defying sect, if you want to have a grave, You should choose the grave palace in the ghost venerate cemetery. It's just a grave. You guys are jealous of it. It's really a disgrace. These words caused the soul-devouring ghost emperor and the ghost king's eyes to sparkle. However, they quickly turned into lonely sighs. With Wang Kai's ability, it was unknown whether he could be revered in the ghost graveyard. How could he obtain the same treatment as the grave palace in the ghost venerate cemetery? You don't even know how to show off. What's the point of learning from this group of unpresentable brats? It's just a grave. No matter how big it is, isn't it still a grave? It's better to dig a hole and lie down. At least, you can act more cool and awesome. It's simply too uncool, Wang Kai said with a disdainful smile. Swoosh. Patter. 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 In an instant, the tombs that were the size of houses split open from the center. Many huge black coffins were emitting rhythmic sounds. However, after a long while, the coffin lids did not completely open. In the end, they were only half open. Such a scene immediately caused Wang Kai's face to darken. He immediately flipped his hand and slapped out. He sternly scolded, "You still dare to show off in front of this sect leader? Who asked you to show off?" Rumble. Rumble. Bang, bang, bang. The lids of the coffins were all lifted up by Wang Kai's palm. There were many ghost cultivators lying quietly in the coffins. When the lids of the coffins were completely opened, their eyes suddenly opened. Rays of eerie blood light penetrated the coffins. Coupled with the chilly wind and deathly aura that surrounded them, it was truly a horrifying sight. You still want to show off? All of you are at the ghost celestial stage. Is it that difficult to open a coffin lid? Also, this sect leader has already opened the coffin lids for all of you. Why are you still not coming out after such a long time? Are you trying to scare this sect leader? F***CK, your grandpa. Wang Kai's gaze was rather unfriendly as he coldly snorted. Immediately, his figure flashed, and he appeared on top of a ghost celestial stage expert lying in the coffin. He looked down at the ghost celestial stage expert lying in the coffin and stomped his foot down. Since you don't want to come out, then stay in there and sleep forever. Bang. Patter. In an instant, under Wang Kai's foot, the ghost celestial stage expert in the coffin exploded. A deathly aura condensed into a spirit, and it wailed incessantly. If you dare to show off again, I'll destroy your spirit as well. Hurry up and come out. Wang Kai looked at the spirit with disdain. He flipped his hand and slapped it, sending it flying thousands of meters away. Heavens, sect leader, what are you trying to do? You can't cause trouble like this. You'll lose your life. The soul-devouring ghost emperor and the ghost king were shocked when they saw this. They fell to the ground with bitter faces. At this point, they really understood they absolutely could not show off in front of Wang Kai. If they failed to show off, they would definitely end up in a miserable state. Sect leader, don't you know that once a ghost cultivator hibernates, it takes time to wake up? The soul-devouring ghost emperor and the ghost king sighed repeatedly with their hands on their foreheads. Chapter 456. Ghost cultivators needed time to wake up from their deep slumber? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. If that was the case, wouldn't it be easy for them to be wiped out? However, he pretended to be calm and said, Haha, I'm well aware of this. I just saw that they were taking too long to wake up, so I decided to lend them a hand. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. However, the soul-devouring ghost emperor and the ghost king chose to ignore his words. How could they have wanted to help when they were so serious just now? If those ghost gods didn't wake up soon, they would have been wiped out. Sect leader, you may not know this, but just as White Impermanence said, they must have swallowed a lot of ghost cultivators to survive after going through so many battles at the Ghost Eater Convention. Naturally, they would need to sleep to refine the ghost cultivation they had swallowed. Moreover, when the Ghost Eater Convention begins tomorrow, they will wake up, the soul-devouring ghost emperor said. The ghost king nodded gently and said in agreement, That's right. Other than refining the ghost cultivation of the ghost cultivators that they had swallowed, Under normal circumstances, ghost cultivators would never sleep to rest. Even if they did sleep, they would choose to wake up. After a certain period of time, they would instantly wake up. Since you've angered them, think of a way to deal with them yourself. White impermanence said indifferently. Swoosh. As soon as she said this, many ghost cultivators floated out of the coffins and stepped on the tombstones. They stared coldly at Wang Kai. Where did this brat come from? How dare you sneak attack me while I'm sleeping? Roar! Roar! With a piercing roar, the ghost cultivator whose body had been shattered by Wang Kai quickly floated back. His body, which should have been shattered, was now completely restored. A ghost cultivator who has reached the ghost god realm has a physique comparable to a divine body? How did you recover so quickly? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and asked curiously. The soul-devouring ghost emperor wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. His body tensed up when he saw the cold gazes of the ghost celestials. He quickly went forward and reminded in a low voice, Sect Master, once you reach the ghost celestial realm, as long as your spirit is not destroyed, you can instantly form a physical body. It is not a divine body. Only in terms of recovery ability, it is comparable to a divine body. His recovery ability was comparable to a divine body. F***CK. If that's the case, it's more advantageous to become a ghost cultivator. No matter how trashy a cultivator is, once he cultivates to the ghost god realm, he can have a recovery power comparable to the divine body. If he leaves the Soul Break Valley, wouldn't it make countless divine bodies jealous? Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with an indifferent expression. Cough, cough. If you don't reach the venerable realm, you won't be able to leave the Soul Break Valley. Any bit of sunlight will cause a ghost cultivator's soul to scatter. The Ghost King said in a low voice. Wang Kai rubbed his nose playfully when he heard this. He could not help but shake his head and sigh secretly. No matter how strong they were still just ghosts if they were afraid of sunlight. B***starred. This ghost celestial is asking you a question. Are you deaf? The ghost celestial was furious. Not only had his physical body been shattered, but he had also been ignored. The other ghost cultivators also frowned deeply at this moment. They saw that Wang Kai could be so calm in front of them and the other ghost celestials. He had also come with the white impermanence ghost messenger. Could it be that he was very strong? Since you are all awake, let's start the competition. This sect master does not have time to wait until tomorrow. Which 4 little ghosts have won the spots to enter the final battle of the ghost feast? Stand up and let this sect master give you a punch or two. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a casual smile. Swoosh! As soon as he said this, the pupils of the ghost cultivators shrank. They all looked at the white impermanence ghost messenger. When they saw her nod, their faces darkened. B***starred. How dare you ignore? Why do you have so much to say? Bang! Crack! Suddenly, before the ghost celestial could finish speaking, Wang Kai flipped his hand and smashed his body into pieces. Even his spiritual soul was destroyed. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing a peak grade 8 ghost celestial. You have received 800,000 experience points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to grade 4 Tao God Realm. Swoosh! This scene caused the faces of the ghost cultivators to change drastically. They stared at Wang Kai in horror. They had not expected Wang Kai to be so strong. He had killed a peak grade 8 ghost celestial with one move. You can use the power of your bloodline. Who are you? Are you a ghost celestial? Nonsense. He is only a grade 9 ghost celestial. No, his aura is grade 4 ghost celestial? He was just a grade 9 ghost celestial. How did he become a grade 4 ghost celestial? If he is not a ghost celestial, how can he use the power of his bloodline? Countless question marks appeared in the minds of the ghost cultivators. In the end, they could not figure out the reason. They could only suppress their fear and shock. However, the most shocked of all was White Impermanence. He had thought that he could use the ghost feast to buy some time and send a message to the underworld. But now, how could he buy time? Sect Leader is so awesome. Sect Leader is so cool. The soul-devouring ghost emperor and the Ghost King were the first to come to their senses. They immediately praised Wang Kai loudly. They were pleasantly surprised by his strength. At first, they thought that they would definitely die. But now, it seemed that dominating the ghost graveyard would not be a problem. Which four little ghosts have successfully qualified for the final battle? Come out quickly. I don't have time to be pretentious with you. Wang Kai shrugged and said impatiently. The ghost cultivators twitched their lips. Who wants to be pretentious with you? Moreover, with his cultivation of grade 4 ghost celestial and the power of his bloodline, he could definitely fight a grade 4 ghost celestial. Which ghost cultivator in the ghost graveyard could be his match? I admit defeat too. Admit, then, among the ghost cultivators, for young men stepped out. As soon as they appeared, they hurriedly cupped their fists and admitted defeat to Wang Kai. They had no intention of fighting with him. Well, then I will be ranked first for the time being. Next, suppress your cultivation level and fight with the two of them. Your cultivation level must be at the same level, Wang Kai said with a mocking smile. He raised his arm and pointed at the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King. Hearing this, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King quivered. Although the blood in their bodies had stopped flowing, they still felt their blood boiling at this moment. Wang Kai was giving them a chance to devour the 4 ghost celestials. If they succeeded, it would be extremely easy for them to break through their current cultivation level. Soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, Grade 9 Ghost Sage. White-Bone Ghost King, Grade 9 Ghost Emperor. As the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and Wang Shang stepped forward and announced their cultivation level, the ghost cultivators' mouths twitched violently. How could such weak ghost cultivators come to the ghost graveyard? However, when they remembered that Wang Kai was their leader, they felt relieved. Chapter 457. We admit defeat. We don't want to fight for the spots to cultivate in the ghost venerable graveyard. That's right, so there's no need to fight. Please forgive us, Ghost Brother. The 4 ghostly deity powerhouses who had successfully won the ghost feast cupped their fists as they spoke, suppressing their anger. If it hadn't been for Wang Kai's last-minute intervention, one of them would have been the one to head to the ghost venerable cemetery tomorrow. Unfortunately, they had lost their chance. If they fought with Wang Kai, they would lose and be devoured by him. Since they knew that they couldn't go to the ghost venerable graveyard, how could they suppress their cultivation and fight with a few wandering ghosts? I said I'll let you fight. Wang Kai looked indifferent as he waved his folding fan. His tone was firm. White impermanence. The 4 ghost deities had no choice but to look at white impermanence for help. They didn't want to fight not because they were afraid of losing, but because they were afraid that Wang Kai would seek revenge after they won. Why are you looking at her? She's my 99,000th concubine. Naturally, she supports what I said. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a playful smile, Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You've received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through and reaching the 5th grade Tao God Realm. Concubine, 99,000. Upon hearing this, all the ghost cultivators were stunned. Even the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were smacking their lips as they looked at Wang Kai in astonishment. However, White Impermanence's reaction surprised the ghost deities. She didn't show any signs of anger and still maintained her cold look. Let's fight. If you win, I'll give you a few more spots. White Impermanence said indifferently, her cold eyes flashing slightly. The only way now was to use the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King to buy time. Give me a few more spots. I'm willing to fight. Me too. In an instant, the 4 ghostly cultivators scrambled forward. However, there were only 2 opponents. The 4 ghostly cultivators stared at each other with hostility. Wait, I still have 2 followers who want to participate in the battle. It's 4 against 4. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and glanced at White Impermanence playfully. Soon after, he flipped his hand and released the green and red ghost from the Tong Tian Tower. Whoosh, whoosh. As the green and red ghosts appeared, The ghost cultivators present were all stunned. Even White Impermanence's eyes flashed with a strange light. He wasn't shocked by the red and green ghost realms, but by Wang Kai's methods. What method did he use to bring them in? Where did he hide it? Even a venerable weapon can't escape the barrier of the seal. Who is he? He actually has a supreme treasure that surpasses the limit of a venerable artifact. White Impermanence frowned, her heart unsettled. Ah, Secmaster, where is this? F***CK, they're all ghosts and deities. Damn it, don't tell me you're the legendary White Impermanence. It must be her. The green and red ghosts were so shocked that a cold wind blew over them. They immediately jumped and hid behind Wang Kai. They swallowed their saliva and looked around in fear. Can you see the handwriting on Sister Impermanence's official hat? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and asked curiously. Even the ghost cultivators present, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King, couldn't see it. However, the green and red ghosts, whose realms are the lowest, could see it. We can see it. Cough, cough, let's not talk about this. Secmaster, we're... Green Ghost said as he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Red Ghost also trembled and said dryly, Secmaster, you can't have been intercepted by them and want us to come out and die with you, right? Bang, bang. The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly when he heard this. He immediately flipped his palm and slapped them all to the ground. He said rather speechlessly, with these weak brats, can they be the opponents of this sect master? Sect master, F***CK? It's true. They don't even dare to get angry. The green and red ghosts were stunned when they saw this. Looking at the ghost cultivators who didn't even dare to get angry, they immediately became bolder. They put their hands on their hips and walked up to the ghost cultivators. They pointed at them and said, what are you looking at? Haven't you seen the most powerful ghost cultivators in Soulbreak Valley? If you keep looking, I'll gouge your eyes out. Red Ghost snorted in disdain. Faced with the green and red ghost's arrogance, the ghost cultivators could only suppress their anger. If it were any other time, they would have killed them all already. As expected of the hall master of our sky-defying sect. You have guts. Since that's the case, let's fight. Green and red ghosts. Choose an opponent from each of the four of them. Let's fight. Wang Kai nodded and smiled with admiration. Whoosh! With that, the azure ghost and red ghost trembled in fright. They pointed at their noses with uncertainty before pointing at the four ghostly deities. They asked tentatively, Sect Master, do you want us to fight? Cut the crap. Let's end this quickly. You're at the same level. What are you afraid of? Wang Kai waved his hand impatiently. At the same level? Hearing this, the green and red ghosts' courage instantly grew once again. They turned to look at the four ghost cultivators, raised their arms, and pointed at one of them in an arrogant manner. It's you. Come out and fight. This hall master will choose you. Seeing that you are the strongest one, as an awesome hall master, I will naturally choose to beat you up. Whoosh! Buzz! Suddenly, the two ghost cultivators who were chosen couldn't hold back anymore. They immediately suppressed their cultivation to the dark ghost realm. With a roar, they attacked the green and red ghosts. That terrifying aura and ferocious face showed how angry they were. On the other side, the remaining two ghost cultivators were also fighting with the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King. Every move was ruthless and merciless. With White Impermanence as the judge, even if they couldn't kill the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the others due to Wang Kai's power, they still had to teach them a lesson. King of Hell, Black Impermanence has already. Beside him, White Impermanence's face was still indifferent. She coldly watched the battle between the two sides. A black token appeared in her jade hand behind her back. I already know Sovereign Heavenly Ghost's intention. For the time being, I won't bother with the little ghost who killed Black Impermanence. Just bring him to the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery and the Heavenly Ghost Palace. White Impermanence frowned slightly. She didn't expect King of Hell and Sovereign Heavenly Ghost to have no intention of finding trouble with Wang Kai. Instead, they wanted to bring Wang Kai to the Heavenly Ghost Palace. Since King of Hell and Sovereign Heavenly Ghost have no intention of sending experts to kill Wang Kai, there's no need to delay any longer. Let's end this matter so that I can cultivate in peace, White Impermanence secretly thought. With that thought, White Impermanence's figure flashed. With a wave of her slender hand, she separated the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the other ghost cultivators who were fighting. There's no need to fight anymore. There's only one spot to go to the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery. Wang Kai, White Impermanence said indifferently. Chapter 458. There's only one spot. The four ghost cultivators were stunned as they stared blankly at Bai Wuchang. Didn't she just say that the winner would get a few more spots? Why was there only one now? Kill. Buzz. In an instant, while the four ghost cultivators were still in a daze, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, the Ghost King, and the green and red ghosts looked at each other and launched their killing moves at the same time. Bang, 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 bang. Crack. The four ghost cultivators were caught off guard, and their bodies exploded. Even their spirits were disrupted by the attack. Following closely behind, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the other ghost cultivators mercilessly pressed forward. They opened their mouths and swallowed all four spirits, including the remains of their shattered bodies, into their stomachs. Sectmaster, we're going to sleep. The ghost owl is too strong. Bang. Bang, bang, bang. As soon as he finished speaking, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King fell to the ground one after another. The green and red ghosts were the same. Sigh, what a worrisome subordinate. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. With a flip of his hand, he put the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the others into the Skirich Tower. Even ghost cultivators at the Ghost Celestial stage needed to sleep to refine their Ghost Dao cultivation after swallowing other ghost cultivators. With the cultivation of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, the Ghost King, and the green and red ghosts, they were naturally unable to avoid this. Many ghost cultivators were shocked by this, but Bai Wuchang was not moved. She looked at Wang Kai coldly and said indifferently, "Follow me to the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery." Ghost Sovereign Cemetery. Huff! Wang Kai exhaled softly. They had passed through the ghost domain, and now they had stepped through the ghost graveyard. After passing through the final Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, they would arrive at the central wasteland. You ghost cultivators need to remember that my name is Wang Kai. I'm the sect master of the Defying Heaven sect. The 8 wastelands were created by me in the past to have sex with beautiful women. Remember my name. It will be the greatest honor in your life. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. As his voice faded, Wang Kai placed one hand behind his back and fanned himself with the other. Under the astonished gazes of the numerous ghost cultivators, he followed by Wu Chang and left in succession. Wang Kai, the sect leader of the heavenly sect. This ghost deity actually remembered him. A ghost deity muttered in a somewhat speechless manner. It's hard not to remember such a boastful person. The group of ghost cultivators shook their heads and sighed, lying back into their coffins in disappointment. In the depths of the ghost graveyard, at the edge of the area, there were no more tombs. The extremely wide, open space spanned hundreds of miles and was surrounded by a dense aura of death. Wang Kai and Bai Wuchang landed on a high hillside and looked down. What came into their view were eerie palaces with an aura of death. The number of palaces was so large that it was difficult to estimate. Even without the need for a barrier, countless ghost cultivators don't dare to approach. The graveyard of ghost venerables. TSK. It's pretty good at acting tough. However, it's pretty good at acting tough. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled casually. Bai Wuchang's eyes flickered slightly when she heard this. She raised her slender arm and pointed in a direction, saying indifferently, "Over there is the heavenly ghost palace. You can go there by yourself." Looking in the direction that Bai Wuchang pointed, they indeed saw the tallest palace. Its size was enough to accommodate dozens of palaces. That was also the central area of the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, where the aura of death was the strongest. You want me to go there by myself? Sister Wu Chang, are you kidding me? Although this sect master's strength is monstrous, and I have the ability to turn the world upside down, I really don't want to bully the weak to prevent countless ghost cultivator souls from dispersing. Sister Wu Chang, you should come with this sect master. Wang Kai raised his brows slightly and waved the folding fan in his hand with a faint smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th grade Dao God realm. Bai Wuchang frowned slightly and looked coldly at Wang Kai. She said indifferently, with your current realm, it is naturally difficult for you to pass through the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery and reach the Heavenly Ghost Palace. However, you have taken the soul elixir previously, so no ghost cultivator will find trouble with you. Ha! Do you think I am afraid of them finding trouble with me? It's just that I don't want to hurt the innocent. As the saying goes, the heavens are virtuous. Even the heavens were created by me, so my moral character is naturally even more noble. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled faintly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. As soon as these words came out, Bai Wuchang's brows furrowed even tighter. She really couldn't stand Wang Kai's boastful personality. She immediately said coldly, "Didn't you claim to be the leader of the heavenly sect? If you are not afraid of the heavens, why should you be afraid of some ghost sovereigns? Moreover, if a ghost cultivator really does not know what is good for him and offends you, you can summon the demon monkey." Whoosh. As soon as she finished speaking, Bai Wuchang's figure gradually turned into light spots and disappeared. Ghost Sovereign. What is the realm of the Ghost Sovereign? Big stupid cat, quickly tell me the truth. Wang Kai frowned and asked. Looking at the palace tombs below, he really didn't have any confidence. In the Tong Tian Tower, Cat Lord stroked his long whiskers and was floating in the palace. He slowly opened his eyes and said lightly, "Ghost Sovereign." Ghost cultivators are called Ghost Sovereigns. Humans are called Human Sovereigns. Buddhist cultivators are called Buddhist Sovereigns. Demon cultivators are called Demon Sovereigns. Halfway through, Wang Kai's face suddenly darkened. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly, and he said, "I am asking how many realms there are in the Ghost Sovereign realm." Soul Break Valley was the most powerful place. How could there only be Ghost Sovereigns? There must be many more powerful ones. 3 emperors, 4 saints, 5 immortals, 6 deities, 7 Tao, 8 sovereigns. In order: Human Sovereign Realm, Holy Sovereign Realm, Celestial Sovereign Realm, Godly Sovereign Realm, Earthly Sovereign Realm, Heavenly Sovereign Realm, Supreme Sovereign Realm, and the most powerful 8 Desolation Supreme Realm. Yes, there's only one 8 Desolation Supreme Realm in the 8 Desolation Lands. Cat Lord stroked his long whiskers and said lightly, "Human Sovereign, Holy Sovereign, Celestial Sovereign, Godly Sovereign, Earthly Sovereign, Heavenly Sovereign, Supreme Sovereign, and 8 Desolation Supreme Sovereign. There was only one 8 Desolation Supreme Realm. In other words, if one wanted to travel unimpeded in the 8 Desolation Lands, one must at least reach the Supreme Realm." Thinking of this, Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows and said with a calm smile, "It's just the 8 Desolation Realms. If I want to reach them, it's just a matter of time. There is nothing to be afraid of." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through and reaching the 7th grade Dao God realm. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai was in high spirits. He raised his hand and lifted his robe. Waving his folding fan, he jumped up into the sky and laughed proudly. Overturn this Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, then go to the Central Desolation Lands and beat up the Heavenly Emperor. Laugh all over the world. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Buzz. Swoosh. Suddenly, Wang Kai's face changed greatly. Just as he was about to step into the air, he found that he could not control his strength at all. His body immediately fell from the sky. White impermanence. F*CKU. This place is not allowed to step into the air. Why didn't you tell me? Chapter 459. Bang! As Wang Kai fell from the sky, the loud noise immediately attracted the attention of the guards in the tomb palace. Looking at Wang Kai, who had half of his body smashed into the ground, the corners of the guards' mouths twitched slightly. Are you new here? Of course. Which ghost cultivator would be stupid enough to step into the air in the ghost sovereign tomb? Why don't we capture him and make him our guard? The palace master should agree, and we can lighten some of the burden. He. Are you stupid? Carefully sense his aura. It's the heavenly ghost sovereign's aura. What could he be? He's the leader of the ghost feast organized by the heavenly ghost sovereign. The four guards discussed spiritedly in front of the tomb palace. From start to finish, Wang Kai heard every single word that was said. Half of Wang Kai's body was smashed into the ground. Hearing those words, he suddenly felt like he didn't want to come out. It was too embarrassing, too embarrassing. Crack! As Wang Kai stood up from the ground, he waved his hand and patted the ground. Then, he took out a folding fan and gently waved it. With a rather calm expression, he said with a smile, "It seems that my indestructible diamond body has not been completed yet. Otherwise, falling from such a high height would have caused me to smash tens of millions of meters into the ground. Sigh, it seems that I still have to practice more." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 8th grade Dao God realm. Swoosh! Hearing these words, the four guards were stunned. They looked at each other, and all of them felt extremely speechless. Obviously, he didn't know that he couldn't step into the air, so he carelessly fell down. However, he said that he deliberately fell down to cultivate his physique. Hee, I seem to have heard the four of you speaking ill of me. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and looked at them with a playful expression. Behind the four guards was a large tomb palace. At the entrance of the palace was a huge tombstone, which was currently tightly shut. The four guards looked at each other when they heard this. If it were any other new ghost cultivator, they would naturally not let them off and would even teach them a lesson. However, the one before them just happened to be chosen by the Sky Ghost Sovereign. Brother Ghost, you've misunderstood. We were talking about the new ghost cultivator a few days ago, not you. That's right. A few days ago, there's also a ghost cultivator who foolishly tried to step down from the sky. In the end, he fell bang, bang. Before the guard could finish his words, he was punched by the other guard beside him. Bastard, don't use the word also. Are you looking for trouble? Only then did the guard react. Looking at Wang Kai's playful expression, he hurriedly wiped the cold sweat on his forehead and said with a trembling voice, That's right. A few days ago, a ghost cultivator tried to step down from the sky and fell here. Oh, F***CK you all. Do you think this sect master is chatting and joking with you? All of you kneel on the ground and beg for forgiveness. We were wrong. Wang Kai's expression suddenly turned cold, and his tone was rather unfriendly as he berated sternly. Swoosh! The moment these words were spoken, the expressions of the four guards immediately changed. Even if Wang Kai was a ghost cultivator chosen by the Sky Ghost Sovereign, it was really unbearable for him to be so arrogant when he had just arrived. New ghost, it's true that you were chosen by the Sky Ghost Sovereign, but as a ghost, you must know how to be humble and polite. That's right, we've already explained it just now. We weren't talking about you. As the saying goes, forgive ghosts where possible. Don't go too far. F***CK me. Hearing this, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes slightly and walked up to them with his hands behind his back. He raised his arm and waved the folding fan. Tapping one of the guards on the shoulder, he asked with a playful smile, What's your realm? 5th grade, Ghost Sovereign. The guard snorted proudly and looked at Wang Kai with a gaze that said, You'd better not look for trouble. Naturally, he was hoping that he would back off in the face of difficulties. Oh, 5th grade Ghost Sovereign. One awesome realm. You can use the power of your bloodline, right? Wong Kai's smile became more playful. However, the guard snorted and said, I didn't activate the power of my bloodline when I was alive. I can't use it after I'm dead. Can't use the power of my bloodline. Wong Kai suddenly grinned when he heard this. That inexplicable mischievous smile made the guards shiver uncontrollably. What about the three of you? What's your realm? Have you activated the power of your bloodline? Wong Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with a smile. The three guards looked at each other and snorted in unison. We're the same. F*CKU. You haven't activated the power of your bloodline. What are you trying to show off for? 10 dragon-subduing slaps. Suddenly, Wong Kai's smile disappeared and was replaced by a face full of dark anger. He raised his arm and slapped out several palm prints. Bang, 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 bang. The green palm prints all caught the 4 guards off guard. Even if they reacted and wanted to block, they found that they couldn't shake Wong Kai at all. The strength of both sides were not in the same dimension. You're only an 8th grade Tao God. How can you use the power of your bloodline? Damn it. Bang. Bang, bang. The 4 guards fell to the ground and stared at Wong Kai in disbelief. However, they were greeted with another round of slaps. Immediately, their bodies exploded and turned into 4 souls. Spare me. Brother Ghost, please spare me. If you hit us again, our souls will be destroyed. The 4 guards were scared out of their wits. Their souls turned into figures and knelt on the ground, begging for mercy. Clap, clap. Seeing this, Wong Kai clapped his hands, took out the folding fan from his waist, opened it with a click, and said with a faint smile, Don't worry, this sect master's name of benevolence and righteousness has spread all over the world. This time, I came to Soul Break Valley because I died to save the world. Why would I kill you? Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Hearing this, the corners of the guards' mouths twitched. Naturally, they didn't believe Wong Kai's nonsense. However, they could only pretend to believe it. It turns out that Brother Ghost was a good man when he was alive and is destined to be a good ghost when he dies. That's right. We're not as good as Brother Ghost. We didn't recognize Mount Tai. Please forgive us, Brother Ghost. Please forgive us, Master Kai. We were wrong. Wong Kai's eyebrows twitched slightly. He smiled calmly and said, Wouldn't it be better if you did this from the start? Is it worth it to avoid a beating? Tell me, you're all in the Ghost Venerable realm. Why did you become guards? When the 4 guard heard this, they shook their heads and sighed repeatedly. They looked at each other, and all of them felt endless sorrow. Brother Ghost, you don't know. When we came here from the Ghost Graveyard, we thought we could get our own tomb palace. However, who would have thought that even in this borderland, one has to be at least in the Holy Venerable realm to be able to own a tomb palace? Sigh, in the Ghost Venerable realm, we can only be servants and guards in the Ghost Venerable Graveyard. If we knew this would happen, we would have been free in the Ghost Graveyard. Not only did we not get our own tomb palace, but we also became servants and guards. If our peers in the Ghost Graveyard knew about this, they would definitely laugh their heads off. Chapter 460. Back then, Wong Kai raised his eyebrows and looked at them strangely. He smiled and said, How long have you guys been in the Ghost Venerable Graveyard? Why are you still at the 5th level of the Ghost Venerable realm? Whoosh! The moment he finished speaking, Wong Kai thought that the 4 guards, who should have been red in the face, didn't show any signs of shame. Instead, they looked at him with strange gazes. We've been in the Ghost Venerable Graveyard for 25 years. 25 years. F*CK. Wong Kai's mouth twitched, and he patted their shoulders sympathetically. He shook his head and sighed. Let nature take its course. It's not your fault that your talent is too weak. Brother Ghost, don't you know that for a cultivator of the Venerable Realm to break through, they need to comprehend the way of heaven to strengthen their own Tao? The four of us can reach the 5th level of the Ghost Venerable Realm in 25 years. It's considered an average cultivation speed in the Ghost Venerable Graveyard. That's right. Let me tell you a secret. I heard that our Palace Master, the Holy Venerable, took more than 300 years to cultivate to the 9th level of the Ghost Venerable Realm. It took him another 500 years to reach the Holy Venerable Realm. Give us a few more 100 years, and we'll definitely be able to reach the Holy Venerable Realm and have our own tomb palace. Listening to the whispers of the four guards, Wang Kai couldn't help but be startled. To cultivate in the Venerable Realm and break through, one needed to comprehend the way of heaven to strengthen and perfect their own Tao. One did not need to rely on absorbing the spiritual primordial energy of heaven and earth, such as the death chi, to break through. One needed to comprehend. The time needed to break through would also increase by countless times. Thinking of this, Wang Kai's expression became more and more strange. Others needed to comprehend the way of heaven, but he only needed to brag. Didn't this mean that he would be envied to death? Sometimes people really can't be compared to people, and ghosts can't be compared to ghosts. Just like this sect master, when I was born, there was a 5-colored auspicious cloud. So far, I have only cultivated for less than a year, and I am already a Tao god. Sigh. I am so powerful that even I am jealous of myself. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging and reaching the 9th stage of the Tao God realm. Host, Wang Kai occupation, martial artist, talisman cultivator, array, cultivator secondary occupation, alchemist realm, 9th grade Tao, God Tao techniques, way of bragging, pill codex, spirit codex magical powers, luck deprivation technique, soul manipulation technique, heaven sealing technique, yellow spring sand sea technique, great summoning technique equipment, Tong Tian Tower, 9 dragons cauldron, God punishing brush, 10,000 formation restriction map, ever-changing fan, frost flying, sword bloodline, level 10 physique, 9-5 supreme physique protector spirit beasts, Lan Qianshou, sky venerable realm, Luo Ning, earth venerable realm, bragging points, 2130 experience, 30000300000. Inch my experience points have increased by another 100,000. Wang Kai casually glanced at it, then urged his mind to close it. Regarding the increase of 100,000 experience points, he only needed to brag a little more. There was no need to care about it. Look, this sect master is so awesome. I've just spoken, and I've already broken through another level. Alas, being too mighty and awesome is also a sad thing. Don't compare yourself with this sect master. In a universe, there are very few experts who can stand shoulder to shoulder with this sect master. It's better to say that there isn't anyone at all. Wang Kai shrugged and patted the guards on their shoulders. He shook his head and left. At the same time, he didn't forget to show off his aura. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 100 bragging points. Looking at Wang Kai's back and his aura, the 4 guards looked at each other and were stunned. They knew that he had indeed reached the 9th stage from the 8th stage. This ghost is so good at bragging. That's right. He's so good at bragging. Damn it. If we came to the Ghost Venerable Graveyard as ghost gods, we might have broken through faster than him. That's right. What's there to brag about? However, these words were not heard by Wang Kai. Otherwise, he would not be able to avoid another round of beating. As Wang Kai walked leisurely among the palace tombs, many ghost cultivators hurriedly looked away when they saw him. They didn't want to provoke the ghost cultivators that the heavenly ghost sovereign had taken a fancy to. Wang Kai felt bored, but if they didn't offend him, he couldn't offend them, right? Moreover, they were all ghosts. He had no choice but to speed up and go straight to the heavenly ghost palace. However, as Wang Kai went deeper, his heart was in his mouth. The aura in the palace tombs gradually rose from the level of holy venerables to a higher level. It was so high that Wang Kai couldn't see it. The deeper he went, the more unfathomable it was. The death chi also became thicker and more sinister. When he reached the heavenly ghost palace tombs, the powerful aura made Wang Kai's nerves tense. Even if he wanted to relax, his body wouldn't listen to him, and he couldn't help but be in a state of alert. When awesome heavenly ghost palace tombs. In other places, there are ghost venerables as guards, but here, there are holy venerables as guards. Wang Kai looked at the 8 guards standing in front of the huge palace tombs and couldn't help smacking his lips in admiration. When the 8 guards heard this, they only glanced at Wang Kai indifferently. Then, one of the guards walked out and said, "Come with me." When Wang Kai saw this, he raised his eyebrows and looked at Xiao Chun with a strange expression. Then, he smiled playfully and said, "You are already holy venerates. Why did you not make a palace grave? Why did you choose to be guards here? Are you trying to show off, or are you stupid?" Swoosh! The eyes of the 8 guards immediately turned cold. They didn't expect the ghost cultivator chosen by the heavenly ghost sovereign to be so arrogant and bold. What do you know, little ghost cultivator? Don't think that we are just guards. If we go out, the palace masters of any cultivation level will have to give us some face. Why are you telling him this? He is just a little ghost who just came from the ghost tomb forest. He knows too little. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes as he listened to their conversation. He habitually held his fan and tapped the shoulder of one of the guards. He said mockingly, "Are you saying that this sect master is inexperienced?" The 8 guards snorted coldly and didn't reply. Good. Since you are so awesome, it seems that this sect master needs to teach you. In this 8 wastelands. Oh no, in this world, in this universe, this sect master's power is so strong that I can shatter a world with a stomp of my feet. Wang Kai smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Come with me. The heavenly ghost sovereign has been waiting for you for a long time, the guards said disdainfully. The other 7 guards also had mocking smiles on their faces. How strong could a little ghost who just came from the ghost tomb forest be? Not to mention the depths of the ghost sovereign cemetery. It would be difficult for him to survive even at the edge. If he wasn't chosen by the heavenly ghost sovereign, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens for him to come here. When this sect master is bragging, you all have to listen carefully. When this sect master is bragging, you all have to stand up honestly. Since you all didn't listen carefully and didn't stand up honestly, then this sect master can only display a power that can destroy heaven and earth to let you all know how big of a sin it is to offend this sect master. Wang Kai snorted coldly with an unfriendly look in his eyes. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the first-grade human sovereign realm. They all rushed to stand in front of Wang Kai. When Wang Kai saw this, his face immediately darkened. If it was a ghost and a stick, 7 ghost cultivator guards would need at least 1,400 bragging points. A stick for each of you, right? Good. I hope that after you see his behavior, you can still take a hit from the stick. Grandson, get up. I am your grandfather. Bang! As soon as Wang Kai finished speaking, he lifted his leg and kicked the guard until he woke up. You are the guard of the Holy Venerate Palace Guard. You are also my grandson. As Wang Kai instilled the memory into the guard, he was dazed for a while. Then, he immediately knelt on the ground and respectfully and affectionately called out, "Grandfather." Whoosh! Such a scene immediately caused the 7 guards to be extremely astonished. They looked at each other and went forward to push the guard. "Hey, are you stupid? It's just a stick. Can't you take it? Stop fooling around. You've gone too far." However, no matter how they tried to persuade him, the guard still looked at them coldly and scolded sternly. "Get out of my way. Are you trying to separate me and my grandfather again?" The 7 guards were speechless. When they looked at Wang Kai again, they were so scared that their faces were pale, and they kept retreating. They were definitely not playing with Wang Kai. They had really been beaten silly by a stick. Who was the one who said that he wanted to take a hit? Come, come, stand up. I will fulfill your wish. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and waved his fan. He had a mocking expression on his face. Grandfather, don't worry. With your grandson here, no one can hurt you. The guard stepped forward and stared at the 7 guards coldly. His killing intent was obvious. Whoosh! Such a scene and such words caused the 7 guards to tremble. They kept retreating with pale faces and swallowed their saliva. They were scared out of their wits. Why should we be afraid of him? Even if his stick has a unique ability, as long as we are not hit, we will be unharmed. That's right. Let's capture him and bring him to the palace. Do it. Whoosh! Whoosh! In an instant, the death chi of the 7 guards swept out. The terrifying and eerie pressure caused Wang Kai to taste something sweet in his throat. He almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Fortunately, there was a guard in front of him. Otherwise, he would definitely be at a disadvantage. Rubbing mirror without looking at the card. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining rubbing mirror without looking at the card. 200 bragging points have been consumed. Whoosh! The 7 guards who had rushed over had just repelled the guard protecting Wang Kai when a blinding light flashed. They were so scared that they closed their eyes and quickly retreated. It's actually sunlight. I want to rub mirror. Bastard, what happened? I want to rub mirror. Damn it. What's going on? I want to rub mirror. Immediately after, the 7 guards hugged each other in pairs and rubbed against each other with all their might. The one who was free even targeted the guard who was protecting Wang Kai. Grandpa, save me. This is too disgusting. Oh no, I want to rub mirror. Bastard. I want to rub mirror. Seeing the 8 guards rubbing against each other and the guard who was hit by the fire stick looking at him with an expectant gaze, the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly. He waved his hand and said, Grandson, Grandpa can't do anything. Whoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Kai put one hand behind his back and fanned himself with the other hand. He looked rather carefree as he walked toward the entrance of the palace tomb. At the same time, in the palace tomb, a skinny old man in a gray robe with a wrinkled face was staring at a mirror in front of him in amazement. Beside him, there was a beautiful woman in a black dress with a light veil around her arms. Her beautiful eyes were wide open as she looked at the mirror in amazement. The scene in the huge mirror was the scene of the 8 guards rubbing against each other outside the palace tomb. Ryu, what do you think of this little devil? The skinny old man asked calmly. Chapter 462. Hearing this, the woman in black blinked her beautiful eyes in a strange manner. Looking at the scene reflected in the mirror, she couldn't help but gently shake her head. Covering her face, she laughed and said, Ryu doesn't know, but it's quite interesting. With his character, it's fine if he doesn't die, but if you give him the task, I'm afraid it will be difficult for him to survive. Difficult to survive? The corner of Supreme Heavenly Ghost's mouth twitched slightly, but he didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it. Nodding, he said, It's indeed not good to stir up trouble. You should leave for the time being. The woman in black bowed, lowered her head slightly, and left the front palace with light steps. If he can still summon that demon monkey cultivator, it may be able to save his life. It just so happens to make up for his troublesome character. Hearing the woman in black's words, Supreme Heavenly Ghost gently nodded. Without saying anything, he flipped his hand, and a crack appeared in the void in front of him. At the same time, Wang Kai, who was just about to step into the tomb palace, was caught by a pressure before he could react. His body fell into the crack that suddenly appeared. Who is this evil ghost? How dare you sneak attack this sect master? Don't you know that this sect master is the lord of the 8 wastelands, the sovereign of the universe? Is it you, old man? Wang Kai's expression suddenly froze. Looking at the skinny old man in front of him, he couldn't help but slightly narrow his eyes. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. In a large palace, besides a long screen, there was only a huge black coffin. At this moment, a skinny old man in gray robes was sitting on top of the coffin. The Lord of the Eight Wastelands, the sovereign of the universe. Ha, not bad, not bad. Are you willing to take this sect master as your master? Supreme Heavenly Ghost said with a faint smile. His eyes were as calm as an ancient well, making it impossible to tell whether he was happy or angry. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Sizing him up with a scrutinizing gaze, he shrugged and said with disdain, "Be this sect master's master? In this world? No, in the entire universe, and even outside the universe, no one has the qualifications. You are barely qualified to be this sect master's disciple. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to second stage human sovereign realm." Sovereign Sky Ghost didn't say anything else. He just stared at Wang Kai expressionlessly without saying a word. In this regard, Wang Kai naturally couldn't be afraid of him. He immediately sat cross-legged in the air and looked at him with a scrutinizing gaze. He said quite proudly, "Want to compete with me? Can you endure not talking? I'm not afraid to tell you that I haven't opened my mouth for hundreds of millions of years. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points." A smile flashed across Sovereign Heavenly Ghost's eyes when he heard this. Finally, he opened his mouth and said, "I was just wondering where you got the guts to act like this in front of me. Aren't you afraid of death?" Buzz. Suddenly, a terrifying pressure engulfed the entire palace. Wang Kai's bones creaked under the pressure. His body, which was suspended in the air, was directly pressed to the ground and broke out in cold sweat. A sovereign. Is this the pressure of a sovereign realm expert? It's impossible to resist. Whoosh! The pressure suddenly dissipated, and Supreme Heavenly Ghost looked at Wang Kai with a strange look in his eyes. He asked in puzzlement, "Are you really not afraid of death?" Patter. Wang Kai raised his hand and wiped the sweat from his forehead. He flipped open his folding fan and waved it gently. He smiled indifferently and said, "Old man, you don't have to act tough in front of this sect master. If you think you have the ability, you can come and try. This sect master only needs to move his mouth, and I can kill you." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Host. Wang Kai occupation. Martial artist, talisman cultivator, array cultivator auxiliary occupation. Alchemist realm. Second stage human sovereign Taoist arts. The art of bragging, elixir codex, spiritual codex magic powers. Luck deprivation technique, soul manipulation technique, heaven sealing technique, underworld sand sea technique, great summoning technique equipment. Tower of Babel. Nine dragon cauldron, god punishing brush, myriad formation seal diagram. Ever-changing fan, icy flying. Sword bloodline. Level 10 physique. 9-5 sovereign physique protector beasts. Lan Qianshou. Heavenly Sovereign Realm, Luo Ning, Earthly Sovereign Realm bragging points, 2430 experience, 2300003000000. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Kai activated the system. After looking at the number of bragging points he had, he secretly gritted his teeth and said, "I still need 6 bragging points to summon Monkey King again. If a battle really breaks out, I'll have to take the risk and summon him." The technique you used to kill black impermanence was the Great Summoning Technique? May I know which region the demonic Monkey King is from? Sovereign Sky Ghost asked with a smile. Do you recognize the Great Summoning Technique? Upon hearing this, Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly. Even if I tell you, you won't know. Moreover, it's impossible to summon Monkey King with just the Great Summoning Technique. He shrugged his shoulders and said with an indifferent smile, "The demonic Monkey King that I summoned was not a demonic Monkey King from the 8 regions. He came from a very powerful place. Yes, that place was created by me. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the third stage human sovereign realm. Sovereign Sky Ghost shook his head gently. Seeing that Wang Kai was unwilling to say, he did not pursue the matter further. Instead, he said indifferently, "Since you've become a champion of the Ghost Eater Convention, come to the Tomb Palace of Sky Ghost and met me. Accept the task that I've given you. Vow to complete it." Whoosh! As soon as he said this, Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered with disdain. "You're ordering me to do something for you? You may not know this, but the person who can order me around has not been born yet. Those who dare to order me around have been dead for thousands of years." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. The task is very simple. Go to the Celestial Emperor's Supreme City in the Central Wasteland and join the Heaven Exterminating Troop. If you encounter any danger or need help, you can go to the Azure Moon Tower in the city and look for the owner. As for the purpose of joining the Heaven Exterminating Troop, I'll send a ghost messenger to inform you after you've successfully infiltrated the troop, Supreme Sky Ghost said indifferently. He chose to ignore Wang Kai's words. His tone was indisputable and did not allow for any disobedience. It was as if he had given an order that must be carried out. This situation caused Wang Kai to frown. He had seen the arrogance and condescension of a person in high position. He immediately snorted and said, "I'm sorry. The general of the Heaven Exterminating Army is my disciple 10,000 years ago. I can't help you with this." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Upon hearing the notification, Wang Kai continued without waiting for Heavenly Ghost Supreme to speak. "Also, the name Jade Moon House sounds like a brothel. How could a virtuous and upright youth like this sect master go to such a filthy place? I can't help you with this. So, you can shut your mouth and stop talking nonsense." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 4th grade human sovereign realm. Chapter 463. There are countless beautiful women in the Azure Moon Tower, and the Tower Master is the head of the 3 great beauties of the Central Wilderness, Supreme Heavenly Ghost said indifferently. Using a honey trap? The head of the 3 great beauties of the Central Wilderness? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. He never thought that the dignified Supreme Heavenly Ghost would use a honey trap to tempt him. If the honey trap doesn't work, is he going to use force? I'm still short of 2 badasses. When the time comes, who cares if you're Supreme Heavenly Ghost? Monkey Son will beat you into a Heavenly Ghost little Sunday. Thinking of this, Wang Kai's expression turned solemn. He sat down cross-legged and gently shook his head with a smile. Beauty is just a stinky skin. If the heart is beautiful, no matter how ugly the face is, it will still be able to gain my favor. If the heart is not good, no matter how beautiful the person is, it will be counterproductive. I value the relationship between men and women the most and have never been a womanizer, so don't waste your time. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Hearing this, Supreme Heavenly Ghost remained expressionless. No one could tell if he was happy, angry, or sad. If you join the Heavenly Extermination Army, you'll be qualified to enter the reincarnation realm controlled by the Heavenly Court to cultivate after 3 months. 1 year inside is 1 day outside. Reincarnation realm? 1 year inside is 1 day outside? Is he trying to tempt me with a way to quickly raise my realm? Wang Kai snorted with a disdainful expression. He secretly thought that he could break through by bragging. He didn't need that kind of cultivation place at all. Haha, Brother Supreme Heavenly Ghost, you probably don't know, right? This sect master's talent is too awesome. It has already surpassed the limits of all the cultivators in the 8 desolate lands. Even if I don't cultivate, I can quickly break through to the next realm by sleeping all day. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Host, Wang Kai occupation, martial artist, talisman cultivator, array, cultivator auxiliary occupation, alchemist realm, 4th grade human sovereign cultivation techniques, the way of bragging, pill codex, spirit codex magical powers, luck deprivation technique, soul manipulation technique, heaven sealing technique, yellow springs sand sea technique, great summoning technique equipment, Tong Tian Tower, 9 dragons cauldron, God punishing brush, 10,000 formation restriction map, ever-changing. Fan, frost flying soar bloodline, level 10 physique, 9-5 supreme physique protector spirit beasts. Lan Xianshou, sky venerable realm. Luo Ning, earth venerable realm, bragging points, 30-30 experience. 2300003000000, it had reached 3,000. Wang Kai hurriedly glanced at it. Seeing that he had enough bragging points, he closed it with a thought. When he looked back at the heavenly ghost sovereign, a faint smile appeared on his face as he said, "However, we can still negotiate." Whoosh! Supreme Heavenly Ghost frowned when he heard this. Just now, he had used all sorts of methods to get him to agree, but he still couldn't get him to agree. Now, he was saying that he could negotiate? He couldn't help but be curious. What exactly did Wang Kai want? Thinking of this, Supreme Heavenly Ghost smiled faintly and said, "Speak. What is your request?" He is the leader of the 3 great beauties of the central wilderness very beautiful? Wang Kai asked with a lewd smile as he narrowed his eyes. Whoosh! Hearing this, Supreme Heavenly Ghost's eyes widened as he looked at Wang Kai in astonishment. He couldn't imagine why Wang Kai, who didn't seem interested in beauties just a moment ago, would take the initiative to bring it up now. What kind of weirdo was this kid? Little did he know that Wang Kai believed that now that he had a guarantee of safety, he naturally had to negotiate. Since he was going to the central wilderness anyway, it would be best if he could get some benefits. However, if he didn't have a guarantee and mindlessly asked for benefits, he would most likely be killed by Supreme Heavenly Ghost in the end. Cough, cough. She's very beautiful. She's the best in the central wilderness and the only one in the 8 wilderness. Various peak forces, from the sect master to the disciples, are all scrambling for her. Supreme Heavenly Ghost said, unable to keep up with his thoughts. She's the best in the central wilderness and the only one in the 8 wilderness? Wang Kai's smile grew even wider when he heard this. He rubbed his chin and said with a playful smile, "Can I do it? Oh, enter the bridal chamber." Patter! Before Heavenly Ghost Sovereign could reply, a sound was emitted from a screen. Wang Kai's brows immediately twitched as he swept a glance at the screen, feeling extremely puzzled. If not for Supreme Heavenly Ghost presence, Wang Kai would have definitely rushed over to take a look. Supreme Heavenly Ghost waved his hand and said with a face full of smiles, "Don't worry about it. As for what you just asked, no one in the central wilderness or even the 8 wilderness has been able to obtain the body of the Azure Moon House Master. However, if you can satisfy me, there is still a great chance." Just a chance? Fuck, how could the great Supreme Heavenly Ghost say such perfunctory words? I still have to complete the mission first. Is he trying to give me a goal to motivate me to complete the mission better? Wang Kai curled his lips in disdain. As long as the Azure Moon House is a spy planted by the Heavenly Ghost Tomb Palace, then I can naturally get some benefits by carrying the title of helping Supreme Heavenly Ghost complete the mission. No one in the 8 wilderness has been able to obtain the Azure Moon House Master. Brother Supreme Heavenly Ghost, I forgot to tell you that I'm not a human, but a ghost. Moreover, I'm a perverted evil ghost who specializes in picking beauties that others can't obtain. Not to mention a beauty like her. Even the 3 great beauties of the central wilderness will offer themselves to me with just a flick of my finger. Wang Kai said with an indifferent smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th grade human sovereign realm. Bang! Suddenly, another sound rang out from behind the screen. This time, it was louder than the first time. This situation immediately caused Wang Kai's face to darken. He immediately stood up and walked towards the screen, only to find that there was no one behind it. Hee, don't worry about it. The wind might have disturbed the screen, Supreme Heavenly Ghost said with a faint smile. Wang Kai's expression became even more disdainful when he heard this. He said with disdain, "The wind disturbed the screen? Brother Supreme Heavenly Ghost, don't use your worthless literary talent to talk nonsense with me. How can the wind enter the tomb palace? Do you think it's because of your teeth? Teeth? Wind leaking?" Supreme Heavenly Ghost's gaze suddenly darkened as anger flashed through his eyes. He had never thought that this kid would be so despicable. He took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "What other request do you have?" Is he angry? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he saw this. He walked back without a care and said with a faint smile, "Give me the divine stones used in the central wilderness." Kid, supreme stones are the most precious. Below them are Tao stones, and after that are divine stones. Inside the sky-reaching tower, Lord Cat reminded while stroking his long whiskers. Hearing this, Wang Kai smacked his lips and rubbed his chin. He pretended to be thinking and said, "Give me some supreme stones. The more the better. Yes, you should also give me some alchemy materials. Supreme grade ones will do. Also, give me some Tao arts and divine abilities." Yes, and supreme artifacts. As Wang Kai continued to speak, Supreme Heavenly Ghost's face had already turned purple. It was as if he had come back to life from anger. Chapter 464. I've already prepared everything you've said, but I can only give you 10,000 supreme stones, a supreme artifact, and a divine ability. It's enough for you to use in the central wilderness. As for the materials for refining pills, I don't have them, Supreme Heavenly Ghost said indifferently. Whoosh! As soon as he said that, Wang Kai's eyes widened. He stood up and said with a stunned expression, "Damn, old man, you're quite good at bargaining, aren't you? Don't you know that you'll be hunted down by the old men and women in the market if you bargain like this?" The moment he opened his mouth, he reduced the amount to 1. Wang Kai had never heard of such a bargaining method. Of course, if it were Wang Kai, he would probably be even more ruthless. He wouldn't give a single one and would instead take some. The supreme treasure that I have given you is no ordinary item. It's enough for you to deal with strong enemies. Furthermore, the mystic skills and Tao skills are also top-notch. There's also the Supreme Stone. In the vast 8 desolates, there are a total of 10 supreme powers. Only the direct descendants of the supreme powers can use the Supreme Stone. Do you know what 10,000 supreme stones mean? Supreme Heavenly Ghost said indifferently. In the entire 8 wilderness, there are only 10 supreme forces. In other words, there were only 10 utmost exalted experts in the 8 desolates. Wang Kai frowned when he heard that. He couldn't help but secretly ask, "Big stupid cat, is 10,000 supreme stones a lot?" It's the same amount as the direct descendants of the supreme forces can use. If you take it out, you'll be treated with supreme hospitality no matter where you go, Lord Cat said as he stroked his long beard. A supreme level of hospitality. A symbol of one's status? Not bad. Although the benefits were extremely small, Wang Kai didn't want to go too far. If he really angered Supreme Heavenly Ghost, he would have to spend 3,000 bragging points to deal with him. Even if Supreme Heavenly Ghost was killed in the end, there was still the King of Hell in the Soul Break Valley and the powerful ghost cultivators in the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, blocking the way. As long as he left the Soul Break Valley and reached the Central Wilderness, it didn't matter whether he completed the mission or not. Moreover, he might be able to fish for more benefits. In Soul Break Valley, Heavenly Ghost Supreme had the final say. But outside, thinking of this, Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders casually and smiled faintly. You don't have to give me your supernatural powers, nor do you have to take out your treasures. Let's exchange them all for supreme stones of equal value. Hee hee, you're brave enough. You'd rather have wealth than your life. Forget it. Since you have the guts, I'll exchange it for supreme stones of the same value and add another 10,000. Supreme Heavenly Ghost squinted his eyes and smiled. With a flip of his hand, he condensed a world in his palm. Looking at the transparent sphere, it contained a stone that flickered with black light. It was square in shape and was the size of a palm. How much is this? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and asked. Supreme Heavenly Ghost raised his arm and gently pushed it forward, causing the world in his palm to hover in front of Wang Kai. Then he said, just use your mind to examine it. Wang. Hearing this, Wang Kai was a little surprised. He concentrated his mind and scanned the black supreme stones. When he found out the number, his face immediately darkened. F*CKU. You said it so nicely just now. But in the end, after deducting the 10,000 that you should have given me, there are only 30,000 supreme stones left? Wang Kai cursed, gnashing his teeth. There was a total of 40,000 supreme, venerable stones inside. In Wang Kai's opinion, for Supreme Heavenly Ghost to speak such impassioned words, there should be at least 1,000,000 supreme, venerable stones. In the end, it was only 30,000 supreme stones more than the original 10,000. Suddenly a bell-like but extremely seductive laughter rang out. The voice came from behind the screen. There's really someone, and it's a woman. Wang Kai's face darkened. His figure flashed and immediately appeared behind the screen, but he still couldn't find anyone. Stop fooling around. 40,000 supreme stones is already a lot. Even the young master of sovereign force can only use 30,000 supreme stones. Supreme Heavenly Ghost said in a deep voice. There was uncontrollable anger in his tone. It could be said that his heart was about to explode. He had never met a brat like Wang Kai before. He was really difficult to deal with, and also very hateful. Hiding a mistress in a golden house. Supreme Heavenly Ghost. You look old, but I didn't expect your body to be so strong. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a playful smile. Crack! Supreme Heavenly Ghost's eyes darkened and his face turned cold. He waved his hand and tore open the void. In order to prevent the Heavenly Emperor of the Central Wasteland from noticing, I can only send you to the edge of the Heavenly Emperor domain. When you reach the Heavenly Emperor's Supreme City, go find the Azure Moon House Master. She will tell you what to do and what not to do. Wang, F*CK. Before Wang Kai could react, his body was invaded by an irresistible pressure. He was directly pulled into the crack in the void and disappeared in the blink of an eye. After the spatial crack closed, a crack appeared behind the screen. A graceful, exquisite, and enchanting lady in a black dress walked out from within it with gentle steps. Master, are you letting him go just like that? Why don't you tell him about the soul core? That way, he will be obedient, the woman in a black dress asked with a smile. Wang Kai's actions just now were really interesting. Wang Kai was the only one in the entire 8 wastelands who could anger Supreme Heavenly Ghost to such an extent and come out unscathed. If he didn't listen to the order to find you in the Azure Moon House, the pain of the soul core would be his punishment. If it weren't for the fact that those above the Go Sovereign Realm can't join the Heavenly Exterminating Army, why would we need him? Supreme Heavenly Ghost said coldly. The woman in a black dress eyes flickered. She covered her face and laughed. Master, you don't just care about his realm, right? That demon monkey. All right, you could go back to the Heavenly Emperor's Supreme City. It's hard to avoid mistakes if you stay too long, Supreme Heavenly Ghost said faintly. At the border of the Heavenly Emperor region, on a spacious and extremely magnificent white jade road, Wang Kai was still sitting upright, looking at the road paved with white jade. For a moment, he was a little stunned. Is the Central Wasteland so awesome? Is there such a road at the border? Flaunting your wealth to such an extent, and in front of me. Damn it, I'll tear it all down. Wang Kai muttered fiercely. He was venting all the dissatisfaction he had received from Supreme Heavenly Ghost on the White Jade Road. However, Before Wang Kai could do anything, Lord Cat, who was in the heaven-reaching tower, stroked his long whiskers and said with a smile, "The Central Wasteland is the most respected place in the 8 wastelands. This road can only lead to the Heavenly Emperor's city. You can't destroy it. Otherwise, the Heavenly Court won't let you off. When the time comes, you'll become a fugitive before you can even step into the Heavenly Emperor's city." Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. He snorted and stood up with his hands behind his back. He looked down at the white jade road and smiled faintly. "Count yourselves lucky. I'm kind and benevolent. I don't want to harm any living beings. Naturally, I don't want to destroy any inanimate objects or structures. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points." Hee hee, this person is so interesting. Miss, look, that guy's talking to the White Jade Road. He even said that he would spare the White Jade Road's life. He obviously doesn't dare to touch it, but he's still trying to look for a way out. As a clear and melodious laughter sounded out, it immediately caused Wang Kai's brows to twitch. He abruptly turned around and saw that there was a group of carriages coming over. Heavens, that's a ghost cultivator. He's a ghost cultivator. Everyone, get ready to kill the enemy. Chapter 465. Kill the enemy? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and looked at the carriage in front of him. There were more than 20 guards, and their auras were at the Tao God realm. The burly man who spoke was the most powerful one. However, he was only at the human sovereign realm. Over 20 guards separated into 2 sides and protected a carriage in the middle. In front of the carriage, there was a young lady in a green dress. Her appearance was not considered beautiful, but she could be considered a pretty daughter of a humble family. She was the type that was extremely pleasing to the eye. Who do you want to kill? Kill me? A mere human sovereign realm martial artist dares to say that he wants to kill me? Ha! I'm not afraid to tell you that even sovereign heavenly ghost had to be obedient in front of this sect master. He even cried and yelled as he offered up his supreme stone. Wang Kai smiled proudly as he took out a black supreme stone with a flip of his hand. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Gosh, it's really a supreme stone. Could he be the direct descendant of a sovereign force? Everyone's eyes widened as they stared blankly at the black stone in Wang Kai's palm. For a moment, everyone was shocked beyond words. They had heard of the direct descendant of a sovereign force long ago, but they had never seen one. Now that it had suddenly appeared in front of them, no one could react in time. As for Wang Kai's claim that the Supreme Stone was given to him by the Heavenly Ghost Supreme, no one believed him. Even if he was a direct descendant of a Supreme Being, it was impossible for him to make a Supreme Being submit. Wang Kai couldn't help but shrug when he saw this scene. He thought to himself that they didn't believe his bragging and instead mistook him for a direct descendant of a sovereign-level force. However, it made sense. Who would dare to take the Supreme Stone that the direct descendant of a sovereign force had? It was the top force in the 8 wilderness. If one offended it, there was no way to escape and death was inevitable. You guessed it right. My name is Wang Kai. I'm the sect master of the Defying Heaven sect. I'll be the leader of a supreme being force in the future. Yes, I've come to the Central Wasteland to drink tea with the Celestial Emperor and reminisce about the past, Wang Kai said with a calm smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th stage human sovereign realm. Would he become the leader of a supreme force in the future? Did he come to the central wilderness to drink tea and reminisce with the celestial arch? Doesn't that mean that this person is the young master of a paragon force? Someone with such a high status. If they didn't see the supreme being stone, everyone would definitely treat Wang Kai's words as a joke. However, the supreme being stone couldn't be faked. It was right in front of them, so they had no choice but to believe it. After all, the Supreme Stone was the status symbol of a supreme force. At the thought of this, everyone's expression changed drastically. Even the servant girl in green who was standing in front of the carriage turned pale. She quickly whispered something into the carriage. "Ha! Green Dragon Hall, White Tiger Palace, Vermilion Bird Palace, Black Tortoise Mountain, Levitation Taoist Sect, Golden Cicada Buddhist Temple, Soul-Breaking Valley, Medicine God Mountain, and Exquisite Refinement Sect are the 9 supreme forces. Together with the Heavenly Court in the Central Wasteland, they make up the 10 supreme sects in the 8 wastelands. Their successors are born once every 100 years. I love literature and ancient books. None of the 10 supreme sects have any descendants." As a faint laugh came from the carriage, the guards' eyes widened. They looked at Wong Kai in shock, and then looked at the supreme being stone in his hand. For a moment, they were very suspicious. "Miss, you're right. You haven't cultivated for more than 100 years. You haven't seen the successors of the 10 supreme sects that were born nearly 200 years ago. However, I was fortunate enough to see them. At that time, the 10 supreme sects were very famous in the 8 wastelands. I've heard of their surnames. None of them have the surname Wong," the leading guard said coldly. Whoosh! As soon as the words came out, the faces of the guards were filled with disdain. They might be doubtful if the miss was telling the truth, but the words of the leader of the guards couldn't be false. After all, the guards present knew a little about the leader of the guards. They knew that his talent wasn't enough. It took him 300 years to break through the sovereign realm and reach the peak of the sovereign realm. Naturally, they knew about the events that happened 200 years ago. So you're fake. To think that I thought you were the young master of Supreme Sect. After all this time, you're just bragging. However, the sovereign heavenly ghost of the Soul Break Valley has never revealed his surname. Since you're a ghost cultivator and also have the supreme being stone, you should be the young master of the Soul Break Valley, right? Whoosh! Suddenly, a soft laughter was once again emitted from within the carriage. These words immediately caused the faces of the numerous guards to turn deathly pale. Even the guard leader's eyes abruptly widened as cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Looking at the leader of the guard's terrified expression, the other guards didn't need to think to know that he didn't know the surname of the sovereign heavenly ghost. "Miss, can you say it all at once?" The hearts of the guards pounded violently as they felt a gust of cold wind blowing from the soles of their feet. However, since you slandered and insulted the sovereign heavenly ghost, you shouldn't be his successor or son. Since you also have the supreme being stone, could it be that you stole it from the heavenly ghost tomb? Did you come to the central desolate region to seek refuge? Whoosh! Another chuckle came out, causing the corners of the guards' mouths to twitch as their bodies spasmed. Some of them even fell to the ground speechlessly. They couldn't stand the Miss' slow narration. "Little girl, why are you blabbering endlessly over there? Is your skin very tight, and you want this sect master to loosen it for you?" Wong Kai narrowed his eyes and strode towards the carriage with an unfriendly look in his eyes. "Stand up and protect the Miss. Protect the Miss with our lives." Clank, clank. In an instant, the 20 or so guards clenched their teeth and pulled out their weapons under the command of their leader. They stared at Wong Kai with vigilance. "All of you stand down. This young master's cultivation is not below yours." As the faint chuckle came from the carriage, the expressions of the guards abruptly changed as they became even more vigilant. Some of them even felt their legs tremble. They had long heard of the deeds of ghost cultivators. They killed people and devoured their souls in an extremely cruel and merciless manner. Patter! Wong Kai's footsteps paused when he heard this. He flipped open his folding fan and gently fanned himself as he smiled in surprise. "Can you see my cultivation?" The system was able to hide one's cultivation. Until now, it had never failed no matter what kind of expert it met. Even the sovereign heavenly ghost was unable to peek into the system. But this girl could see through it? However, another chuckle came from the carriage, causing Wong Kai to narrow his eyes. "Haha, of course I can't see through it. This little girl has never cultivated before, but I can feel that they are not your match, because young master has been very calm from the beginning to the end. If such calm emotions are not strong, then wouldn't you be the same as those deliberately mystifying Jianghu magicians? That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.